Trucks are rolling at Kansas Speedway as we're on the pace laps getting ready for 250 miles from this racetrack, but it's on a new and reconfigured track as we take a look at our Camping World track description.
Let me just boil that down for you, Ricky. That means really fast speeds, a lot of speed right in the center of the corner, long straightaways and high bank turns.
Pole for this race just under 179 miles an hour average.
That means those babies are running about 185 when they get off into the corner.
Our peak race analysis, 36 trucks will be starting.
A little bit longer race here, one of the longest races of the year here in the series, over 250 miles, 167 laps. The guys will have an extra set of tires for this race. See the purse just under 600 grand. Pit window could be critical here.
Yes, it could be, because like we said in the pre-race, these guys will have to use some strategy if they want to get up toward the front, some of them. And in order to do that, the tires are sticking well, they're not wearing out. Maybe you just get 2 tires, maybe you just get gas.
Starting grid will roll across the top of your screen for late breaking stories. Let's go back to the garage and Hermie Sadler.
Well, Rick, I think we're in for a heck of a show today, and one of the reasons why is because I've never seen the crew chiefs up and down pit road have such a different idea of what it's going to take to win today. Last weekend at Rockingham, everybody knew you wanted maximum grip, maximum downforce. But today, much more of a moving target. A lot of these trucks are, as we say, trimmed out for speed. The spoilers out of the air, the quarter glasses minimized to get speed on the straightaways. Well, a lot of experienced crew chiefs and drivers thinks about 25 laps into this race, you're going to want more grip. We saw in practice here yesterday. You can get out of the groove and get into the wall, as shown here by Brendan Newberry. So the question is, what's going to prevail? The speed that qualified up front, or the grip that would allow you to drive from the middle of the pack and maybe to victory lane? Let's go down to pit road to Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Hermie. You know, it'd be awfully hard to beat last season in the Camping World Truck Series. We had 16 different winners in only 22 races, but it's also hard to beat the record that the Kansas Speedway has. At this particular track, we've had 12 Camping World Truck Series races and 12 different winners. Now, let's take a look at the 4 guys who have a shot at killing that record today. Buscher on the pole, 4th place start for Johnny Sauter, Bodine and Hornaday. All of those 4 guys have won here in the past. If any of those 4 win today, it'll ruin the record. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of really good trucks in today's field. By my calculation, there are 15 or 16 different trucks that could easily win. Today, we may just extend the record at Kansas to 13 different winners.
Thank you, Ray. We talked about the new, smoother surface. Does that give some of these young guys a little bit of an advantage?
I think it does, but again, because they're essentially going to run wide open around here. It's not, doesn't take as much finesse, but these young guys have proven it. You don't have to run wide open. They're good at all sorts of different racetracks.
Joey Logano, he said his truck isn't fast enough to win just on sheer speed. He hopes driving comes into play. You watch for Kyle and Joey. If it does come down to handling, those 2 will move forward. Right. But if it's just a flat-out speed match, I don't know if they can catch those 2 front-row starters.
Pretty nice day here in Kansas City, Kansas. We're going to ride along with a few different drivers. Guys, take us through them.
You know, I was reading this week that Red Horse Racing has 10 career wins in this series. They've never won in a mile and a half. They want to change that. Timothy Peters has a great shot, but he's starting all the way back in the 18th spot in his Parts Plus Toyota.
Just ahead of him is that Joey Logano truck that I talked about, the Reese Tow Power Ford. Joey's mad at himself over not winning at Rockingham last week. Thought he had that race won, couldn't get it done on the restart. That's a determined young man right there looking to win from the 16th starting spot.
We're also going to ride along with a guy that's won 14 times here in this series on mile and a half, and that's Kyle Busch. Kyle lost 2 engines yesterday, but he will take his Toyota from the 7th position today with a 3rd engine.
Hey, guess what, boys? We're on the pole. We're in the Ream Chevy riding along with James Buscher. He's my championship pick this year. He comes in here 7th in the points, no top 10 finishes. He needs to right his ship today, or his gondola.
Well, James Buscher breaks the track record here at Kansas. We talked a lot of speed taking place. Mile-and-a-half racetracks are always something fun to watch, especially if you're Kyle Busch. When Kyle Busch comes to a mile-and-a-half racetrack, he's got to be your favorite.
Yeah, he's won more races than anyone. He started half the amount of anyone else, so he obviously gets it done, and it's going to be really entertaining to see, coming from that 7th starting spot, how he can get through these guys. We haven't seen the side-by-side practicing we thought we would see, and it'll be fun to watch these boys spread out here when they throw the green flag.
Lights are off on the pace car. It will make a hard left turn. Now we'll put the field in the hands of the Turner Scott Motorsports duo up front. James Buscher, track record holder. Miguel Paludo looking for his first win. We saw the trials and tribulations he has had to go through to just stay here in the United States to be able to race. How about get to victory lane? It could happen today, one of his favorite tracks. They are 2 by 2 as they come into the tri-oval. Green flag in the air, we're underway.
Joey Coulter, the 18, jumps to the inside, made it 3 wide for a moment.
And 3 wide as they go through 1 and 2, fighting for spots early.
You would think that high groove would maybe be even an advantage over the bottom. 2 reasons. There's a little bit more banking like we said up there. Plus, you take the air off the inside truck when you're up beside them on the outside. These trucks really depend on leaning against that air to get good grip in the turns. And when you got a guy on the outside of you, that air is not there.
We saw Ty Dillon in that number 3 truck. Looked like he had a bit of a moment over there in 3 and 4. Lost a little bit of momentum. You see the gap from him to the truck in front of him.
He's able to shoot in front of that 88 of Matt Crafton. Crafton on the high line now, moving up on the inside, the 51 of Kyle Busch.
And he had that moment at 180 miles an hour. Those moments happen quickly when that's the case.
Catch your breath moments at Kansas Speedway early on lap 2. We've already had a couple.
Turner Scott Motorsports 1, 2, 3. There's Johnny Sauter left of your screen. He holds down the 4th spot.
Right behind him, Ty Dillon rounding out the top 5. Kyle Busch, Matt Crafton, Max Gresham, Brendan Gaughan in the top 10. Joey Coulter.
Yeah, Joey's been making some steady moves. He dove to the outside of Brendan on the front straightaway, made that outside groove work. That's a good sign for what kind of racing we're going to see all afternoon.
Seeing Todd Bodine also get by Brendan Gaughan. Gaughan on the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Herman Quiroga in the 77 catching up as well.
You know, we were talking to Joey Logano, and he said, hey, this reminds me a lot of a Daytona Talladega restrictor plate race. These things are so fast here, and you get lined up, you get out of line, and they freight train you.
Up front, Turner Scott Motorsports teammates battling for that top spot. James Buescher in front of Miguel Paludo. Kyle Busch trying to take 5th away from Ty Dillon. As it looked as though Kyle had to check up just a bit.
Yeah, that's that air thing I told you about, Rick. He got down underneath Dillon and got a little bit loose. It gave Matt Crafton a chance to make the move on the inside. Is he going to make the pass?
Those 3 trucks, when they crossed the start-finish line, were separated by 2 1/1000ths of a second.
Look at the run that Max Gresham, the A truck, has on the outside. Pulls to the outside of the 51 of Kyle Busch.
Kyle says this start isn't going exactly like I had it planned. Was making a nice move on a truck to pass and get into the top 5. Now I find myself falling back toward the back part of the top 10. That's how challenging and how tight things are.
Riding along with Timothy Peters in the 17 just in front of him. That's the 77 of Herman Quiroga and the 62 of Brendan Gaughan.
Look over to the left. Brad Keselowski's truck with Joey Logano on board has dove to the inside of Peters. Couldn't make the move, but he got to the inside of him.
Now Peters pulls down to the inside of Quiroga in the 77. That's a battle of teammates. Looks like Timothy's going to make the pass, and Herman's going to pull right down in front of Joey Logano.
You better trust whoever you pull right down in front of to give you a break, or you'll go right into the wall. Any contact at these speeds will make you crash.
Darrell Wallace Jr. in the 54 goes down to the apron. Are we seeing an advantage running on the apron when you go across the start-finish line?
Especially when you're racing side by side, Rick. You want to get as far away from the truck on your outside as you can. Get some clean air. Don't let him disturb your air. So if you can cut the corner, not only is it closer, a shorter way to go down the front straightaway, but you also get all that air off of you. We've seen guys make that pass before, and we'll see it again. I'd say Keselowski's truck here with Logano is going to stay up on the road here because he has that space on Quiroga anyway. So.
And no out of bounds here at this racetrack, unlike Daytona and Talladega.
Side by side once again for position. Joey Logano on the inside in the 19. Herman Quiroga in the 77 on the outside. Momentum winning out as Herman Quiroga just in front of that 19.
The last lap run by James Buescher, faster than the pole speed.
Wow.
And we're 7 laps into this race.
Here comes Darrell Wallace Jr. He gets a run on the inside of Logano. Here's Logano's teammate, Ryan Blaney, making it 3 wide, cutting the track like we talked about, Rick, and you can see the advantage it created. John West Townley to the inside of those guys.
Here comes that 7. Zaxby's Toyota making his way to the inside.
Let's see where this truck goes. Shall I follow the draft or shall I cut the bottom?
Had to get out of the gas there.
Back off a little bit. Just Joey Logano's smart enough to know no need to take any chances. He may have been able to drive that thing in there on the outside wide open, but hey, we're on the 10th of 167 laps.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys talked about the fact that they ran all of practice wide open every lap. So when traffic starts to become a factor, you can't run wide open. You got to be conservative at some point, especially 10 laps into the race, like you said, Phil.
Kyle Busch, we saw him try to break into the top 5, couldn't do it. Now running 7th, Hermie.
Yeah, Rick, and when you're talking about Kyle Busch and trying to win this race, he's trying to do it with a crew chief that he's never worked with. That's Ryan Fugel on top of the box here for Kyle Busch Motorsports. This is the 3rd race he gets crew chief. He also crew chiefs Rockingham and Martinsville. But remember, that was with Eric Jones behind the wheel. So when I talked to Rick Rand earlier about Ryan Fugel and his progress, he said he's done well so far. But your first one with Kyle Busch can sometimes be very, very stressful, he said.
Did a great job with Eric Jones. 2 top 10 finishes for that young man. And the reason he's not here, he's not old enough.
Too young. That's the guys I was talking about in the opening. Half this field hasn't reached their 30th birthday yet. There'll be 2 more guys, 16 and 17-year-old Chase Elliott and Eric Jones, that had top 10s in both of the last 2 races that aren't here because they're not old enough. But you know what's cool? They were at those last 2 races. NASCAR's noticed this youth movement that's coming into the truck series, and they said if you're less than if you're 16 years of age or older, there's some racetracks we're going to let you guys run on. And now we can't wait to see them come back again because they've been so successful in their first 2 starts.
Johnny Sauter in the 98 has been able to get in front of that 3 of Ty Dillon. So he breaks up into the top 4. Jeb Burton still holding on to 3rd. Turner Scott Motorsports holding on to the top 3 spots, and they have about a 3-second lead over 4th place Johnny Sauter.
Yeah, and fast speed set by James Busher. He continues to run fast here. Completed 12 laps, and he's within a 1/10 of a second right now what his pole position time was.
James Busher.
Whoa, sideways,
got
Kyle
into victory
Busch.
lane. Kyle Busch slides into the grass. Can he save it?
He was on the inside of Ty Dillon trying to make that pass.
Comes onto the racetrack. Everyone checks up, and it looks as though it will be a 1-truck incident, but a big one.
We talk about it all the time, how that inside truck is robbed of air, robbed of rear downforce. That's what happened to Kyle. They exited turn number 4 right together with Ty Dillon. Lost that air on that rear spoiler, and around he went.
It robs all downforce. It robs your front, which means he got up toward Ty Dillon, tried to pull it away from him, and then it robbed the rear. Look at Ty, makes a run back on the outside. I don't know if Kyle really expected that. And as they exit the corner, he had to move away from him right there.
There's where he lost the front downforce, moved up towards him, and then had to yank the steering wheel to get it off of Ty, and around he went.
Doesn't look like a lot of damage to the 51. I mean, through the grass.
Damage. I don't think any. Look at that splitter digging up the grass, but it never digs into the dirt. It just mowed the grass for him.
It didn't take any of that splitter off.
We've seen people spin and win before too, Rick.
We've seen him spin and win before.
Todd Bodine comes to mind. Spun and won in Dover. How do you do that?
Been off for 4. He's in the grass. Caution's out. Caution's out. Track is clear. He's coming back up here. Easy, easy.
Good news is NASCAR's allowed these teams an extra set of tires for this race because of the fact it's a 250-mile race. He should be fine.
He needs them.
Right now he does.
This is a different strategy it'll throw Kyle on. I don't believe anybody else will get any tires. The leaders might come in and get some gas, I'm hearing, down there on pit road. Need some Sunoco fuel here early in the go.
That would get them into a window where they know they could make it on 2 more stops. It's a little bit of a stretch at 167 laps. We saw the pit window somewhere between 52 and 57.
And James Busher in front. Looks as though he will commit to pit road, and that brings the rest of the field with him. So Busher leading his teammates onto pit road.
Fuel only, Phil?
I think fuel only for sure. Obviously, other than Kyle Busch.
Service about to take place. Let's go to Hermie.
Yeah, the 13 of Todd Bodine is in his pit stall. Looks like he may have a little bit of trouble getting out. Looks like it's going to be fuel only for Todd. Also, the 51, Kyle Busch, he obviously will get 4 tires. Wants to be tightened up just a little bit, Ray.
A wedge adjustment for Miguel Paludo. They are going to get gas and be the first off of pit road. James Busher will get a small chassis adjustment, a change in first and second position. Turner Scott Motorsports comes out 1-2.
We can see that 5 truck turned around on pit road. I think he made some contact. Looked like maybe the 8 of Max Gresham.
Yeah, Max was coming out of his pit. Just poor communication on the 8 truck. The 5 of Tim George Jr. was well on his way to his pit, and Max didn't get the call from his spotter or his crew chief to ho, 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 and he went, and it caused contact. It spun George around.
So Kyle Busch goes for a wild ride in the infield to bring out our first caution at Kansas. Field lined up now as the lights are off on the pace car. We will go back to racing for the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. This is race 4 of the 2013 season. It's been a season dominated by Johnny Sauter up to this point. Sauter right now running in the top 10. He's in the 7th spot up front in this field. Miguel Paludo and James Buescher.
We saw James Buescher lead all the laps prior to that caution flag. Now Miguel Paludo is going to be the boss on this restart. And I'm wondering if clean air will be enough for Miguel Paludo to stay ahead of James Buescher, as strong as that 31 truck's been.
Yeah, James had driven away from the field. Everyone else was pretty well packed tightly together. It'd be real important for Miguel, with the little bit of experience he has on this type of tracks, to get an advantage down into turn 1 on James. James runs in there beside him, which he's going to do. It's going to be hard for Miguel to hang on to that truck.
High line for James Buescher, trying to keep the momentum up. They're side by side for the lead as they go through 1 and 2 and down the backstretch.
They're side by side all the way back through the field. Now look at them go 3 wide, middle of the backstretch.
They enter turn number 3, 2 and 3 wide. The top 2 still fighting for that top spot as they come out of turn 4. Buescher has a little advantage. Here comes the 32 of Miguel Paludo.
Look like the 27. There he is. Jeff Agnew got into the wall over there at the exit of turn number 4.
Buescher scored as your race leader as they cross the stripe. Paludo still battling on the inside, door to door as they go down the backstretch once again.
This is really tough racing here for Miguel Paludo. We saw Kyle Busch, with all of his experience, lose his truck exiting turn 4. Miguel's got to really be careful right now down on the inside of his teammate.
Got Joey Coulter right there. Ooh, right there in the 3rd spot. I thought Miguel was going to slide up into the 31 of Buescher. Great pit work by Joey Coulter's guys to get him out there.
Well, their teammates, should one of them opt to give the other one the top spot, otherwise the pack's never going to lose them. They're not going to get in front of anybody if they run side by side.
At 10-4 ride, bud. We would ride. It's 18th right here, though.
That's really tough racing right there. I'm telling you, boys. We've seen an example of this where you get really loose. That was on board. We got one up high off turn 4. It's going to spin around. Yes.
Around goes the 21 once again. It's Spencer Gallagher.
What a great job by Brian Silas of missing Spencer Gallagher. Man, Silas was right there and was able to narrowly escape running over him.
Spencer had a couple of issues in practice, spun a couple times, and then blew his engine qualifying. So it's been a pretty eventful debut for Spencer Gallagher here in the Truck Series.
Way up the racetrack.
Wow. That was a long spin, wasn't it? He's had some exciting spins. Hadn't hit much yet.
Yeah, very minimal damage at all. You see, gonna get some flat tires out of it.
Stopping in his pit now.
Locked up the good years. Now, earlier, the 27 of Agnew, look at him wiggle a bit, get up into the wall.
Saw him get loose and try to chase it down. He made a little bit more contact with the outside wall than Spencer Gallagher did. It looks like there's definitely a second groove there, Michael, but if you get above the second groove, look, maybe a little bit of some marbles up there.
See if Brendan Gaughan might have experienced a little bit of those marbles. You could see him get loose down into the center of the corner. Not surprising at all. Brendan's one of the first guys to use that high side of the racetrack, and that truck almost got away from him.
And off of pit road goes the 21 of Spencer Gallagher. So under our second caution at Kansas. Get the green flag when we come back. For the very first time, blind corners, dangerous elevations are going to make this one one of the most exciting races to watch. Don't miss the Grand Am Rolex Sports Car Series. That's today live right after the Truck Series.
Ran up qualifying there.
Yeah, who's starting up front?
Scott Pruitt, Mimo Rojas.
Very nice.
Ganassi.
Very good. Let's go back to pit road and Ray Dunlap.
Well, thank you, Rick. Give you a quick update on Johnny Sauter. His truck was extremely loose on entry and on exit. So when they came in on that last pit stop, they made a track bar adjustment, dropped it down 2 rounds, also a wedge adjustment on that Carolina Nut Toyota. Johnny Sauter came in 4th, and he restarted the race in 8th. Hermie?
Well, Ray, Timothy Peters has been pleasantly surprised with his race so far. This is a brand new body for Red Horse Racing. Butch Hilton told me yesterday they did not take it to the wind tunnel. We're very concerned after practice how this truck would react in traffic, but as things have leveled out under green flag conditions, pretty happy with the 17 so far.
Timothy Peters running 8th. Johnny Sauter 7th. Again up front, James Busher got the advantage over Paludo before the caution came out, so he has the option of inside or outside.
By the way, remember Kyle Busch spun out not that many laps ago. He's up to 13th place now. Again, new tires, freshest tires in the field.
You know, these restarts are when these low downforce setups really can bite you. You got all these trucks around you. You want that straight line speed, but you need handling right now. That's why this is so intense.
Busher and Paludo 1 and 2 coming back to the stripe. Green flag back in the air.
Busher did what James needed to, was able to get that lead without having the truck on the outside of him. Makes a much more comfortable trip through turns 1 and 2, I'll tell you that.
Joey Logano went down on the apron to make it 3 wide, make it pass. Kyle Busch was following him down there.
Down the backstretch they go, side by side. This time a better restart for the 31 of Busher. He's able to clear the pack.
Look at that pack of angry dogs all chasing that lead truck of James Busher. That's good racing there.
Race for second, Joey Coulter and Miguel Paludo. Paludo now has a little bit of an advantage as they cross the stripe, but that inside line working out a little bit better for Joey Coulter.
Good to see Joey Coulter run well here. He hasn't quite had the start of the season that we.
Oh, real loose. He got hit.
Very close.
Coulter got into the side of Paludo off turn 2, and they were both able to hang on to it, but look at all the ground Paludo's.
Oh, look at Ty Dillon get loose and chase it all the way up the hill.
And around goes the 7 of John West Townley, right behind the 3. We saw the 3 of Ty Dillon get a little bit loose, and then Townley goes around.
I think it was a chain reaction that bundled the field up there, and probably with some contact there. See the damage to John West's Zaxby's Toyota.
Heard him say, "We're done, guys."
That was, I'm telling you, that's how tough this is on these restarts. Trucks all in a pack, all over each other. Watch the 18 just lose the front end, go up, make slight contact with Miguel Paludo. Great job by Paludo not to lose any of his stride. It put Coulter back in the clutches of the guys behind him, and I think that bunched up Ty Dillon. Ty gets sideways, hits Quiroga, and watch what Kyle Busch does. He cuts down on Joey Logano.
And that got Joey out of the throttle, and that chain reaction got all the way back to the 7 of John West Townley.
It might be fair to say that wreck started off turn 2.
Yeah.
And it took all the way to turn 4 for it to end.
Riding along with Kyle Busch.
Wow.
He's just trying to avoid Ty Dillon and Aaron Quiroga.
Spin in front of you, check up, low, inside, clear. Nice.
Wow.
Close call there for Agnew. He was able to slide by just in front of John West Townley.
Tough break for John West. Had a solid 11th place finish at Rockingham last week.
Got some takers on pit road too, guys. I'd come too if I was Ty Dillon. He needs a moment to breathe.
Give him some oxygen on pit road.
There's Ty Bodine, the 13 truck, the yellow truck right side of your screen. Here comes Bubba Wallace. See, just fuel for Ty. I mean, I'm sorry for Todd. Ray, what's the 3 doing?
Well, they're going to put right sides on here, Phil, but bigger than that, they really wanted to check all the fenders and make sure there wasn't any damage. There is so much aero out on this racetrack right now, so it looks like they're going with a 4-tire stop. So 4 tires for the 3 truck here on lap 29.
He needed some grip.
Good opportunity to make an adjustment too. We've seen Ty with a couple moments this race.
Putting a little tape on the front of Darrell Wallace Jr.'s truck. Changed the temperature of the engine, helped with the aerodynamics as well.
A lot of damage to John West Townley, bringing out the caution once again. Field 2x2 once again as we're getting ready for the restart. It'll be James Busher on the inside, Miguel Paludo on the outside. Last restart, Busher was able to jump out in front of Paludo, clear himself, but then all mayhem took place behind him.
Oh yeah,
A lot of stuff went on that one lap.
that was a real busy lap, and it all started off turn 2 with a little bit of contact from Joey Coulter into Miguel Paludo, and I'm thinking Miguel's pretty lucky to be sitting where he's at.
Yes.
Miguel saved the sideways truck, as did
Joey
Coulter.
Sure. I don't think Miguel ever let off.
Pace car back on pit road, putting the field back in the hands of James Buescher and Miguel Paludo. And back to the start. Green flag back in the air.
Miguel hangs on that right rear corner, Phil, this time. You saw him run side by side lap after lap earlier with Miguel on the inside to see if he can get the lead from the top side like James was trying to do.
You know, guys, we talked about speed and how fast this racetrack is and the fact that they're running wide open, but in practice we didn't have 36 trucks running together. This is a different racetrack now than I think it was in practice.
Matt Crafton got up to the back bumper of that 32, almost gave him a little bit of a shove going into turns 3 and 4.
Watch your leaders, yeah, together.
And around they go and into the wall. Now Paludo back into the wall. Buescher get into the wall as well. Paludo hits it hard.
I was just thinking when they got ready to do that restart, what a dilemma. You've got 3 teammates up there running 1, 2, 3, and you know they would love to, you know, try to get in line or whatever, but you had people, you know, wanting the lead, and man,
I just think that
yeah, he got loose and got into us.
Yeah, that's awful tough. We saw James.
All right, guys, let's go to the garage and see what we got here.
On the outside earlier, and Miguel bobbling around. That time with James on the bottom and Miguel on his outside, James couldn't hold on to his truck. Be interesting to get a replay and look and see how close they are. I just think that, like we saw Kyle Busch do, James Buescher just loses the front end of his truck and runs in to Paludo. There was plenty of room between them. It wasn't like Miguel had him pinched down. It was just James Buescher lost, the champion lost his truck and hit the new guy.
And we saw Kyle Busch do this exact same thing just a few, few laps ago. So
I thought Buescher had gotten into the wall, but he does not. Buescher doesn't ever touch the wall here.
Yeah, he's okay.
Did you hear him start to roll out of the gas?
Yeah.
He was 5 feet, 6 feet from hitting Paludo when he started getting out of the gas, knowing he was gonna, but it was too late.
I mean, he turns the steering wheel all he can turn, lock to lock, and the thing just keeps on going until he ran into his teammate Miguel Paludo. Paludo makes pretty significant contact with the safer barrier there at the exit. Rest of the field did a tremendous job avoiding him.
That right front locked up on the 32. A lot of suspension damage to the right front of Paludo's truck.
I think that tells you what kind of job Miguel Paludo did when he was down on the inside of Buescher, not to lose his truck. He was racing hard for the lead, but he kept that thing under control. James wasn't able to do that.
And that wasn't a situation where Miguel was really crowding James at all. That's just a byproduct of the aerodynamics of these trucks.
Teammates getting into each other, bringing out our 4th caution of the day. Well, tomorrow after the checkered flag falls in Kansas, turn to Speed for the ultimate post-race coverage. Join the celebration with the winner in NASCAR Victory Lane. Tomorrow live from Kansas immediately following the race right here on Speed.
Gonna be a good one. Love it. Love the action. Love that the fact that these guys are running track record speeds and right on the edge of control.
And sometimes a little out of control.
One
guy who's back in the garage is Miguel Paludo. He's with Ray.
And he has jumped out of his Duraline Brakes Silverado. And Miguel, some really tight racing between you and your teammate. James came on the radio moments ago, said he got a little bit loose, and he apologized for that.
It's okay. I know he didn't do it intentionally. So it's unfortunate, Ray, because we were having a great run, fast all weekend, qualified good, and we really needed to finish in a good spot to keep it up in the points. But it's just the beginning. We'll keep working hard for it. And thanks all the guys back in the shop, everybody, all my guys here did an awesome job. If we do this every week, and we're gonna be good in Homestead.
What have we found out about the truck? Is there any way to fix it, or are you done for the day?
No, we're done.
All right, 32 out of the race. Let's go to the other end of pit road and check in with Hermie.
Hey, Ray, we had a couple of lead lap trucks on my end of pit road come down. The 14 of Brennan Newberry just came in to check some damage, but they did top off with fuel. Also, the 17 of Timothy Peters came to pit road, no adjustments, but they did take 4 tires and topped off with fuel.
Thank you, Hermie. 2x2 once again in this field, working their way down the backstretch now. And obviously this has got to create another wrinkle for these guys, especially, I mean, you run side by side here, you can take out the guy leading the race running side by side.
Yeah, without even touching him, actually. So that's one of these things these guys will fight. We've seen this happen for years and years with these trucks, and obviously nothing's changed here. This racetrack is extremely fast. and they're on the edge of control as fast as it is, and you know, you rob that thing a little bit of downforce. James got loose, but I think it started when he got a little bit tight. He lost the front end. It looked like first had the wheel cut and nothing was happening. We heard him get out of the throttle well before he got into Miguel, but then the truck just kept on going.
Well, we talk about this being one of the longest races a year at 250 miles, but that's a short race in the scheme of things. You got to get it done in a hurry. You got to work your way through this field. You ain't going to waste any time getting there, so that's why these guys look so anxious. They got to get out front and go.
It's Matt Crafton now leading the field back to the green flag. It's in the air. We're back underway.
How about row number 2 there? Kyle Busch on the inside, Ron Hornaday on the outside. First time we've seen Ron up front here.
Can you believe you're saying Kyle Busch in row 2, and Kyle Busch brought out a caution 2 cautions ago?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah.
Sliding through the infield. He's already up into the top 5.
Looks like James Bush is going to get a good draft from Hornaday on the back straightaway. Maybe get around Crafton.
See Ty Dillon jump out of line.
He did get around Crafton. Now Hornaday's trying to do so.
Hornaday making the move on the high side, and that 88 of Crafton falling back.
How about 3 wide down the front straightaway off the racetrack?
Kyle Busch has a little bit of a push from his teammate Quiroga.
Ravon moving up very nicely. He's into the top 5, running in the 4th spot. So it's Busch or Hornaday. Kyle Busch, Ravon Quiroga, and Joey Logano, your top 5.
Tough start for Matt Crafton. He's fallen to the back of the top 10 after starting up on the front row. So he didn't get the start he was looking for. On the other hand, I think Ron Hornaday and Kyle Busch are happy with what they've got going on, as is Armand Quiroga. What a good run for him early in the going.
Yeah, very, very impressive. He's shown speed ever since he came from the Toyota Mexican Series, doing a nice job. And now again, that's another one of Kyle Busch Motorsports trucks. I'm sorry, that's a Red Horse Racing truck. He started out with Kyle Busch Motorsports with the few races he's run over the last couple years.
And right now running in the top 5 in that 4th position.
I like what I'm seeing out of him too. He seems to really gain speed on these other trucks in the center of the corner. You can see him pull right up on the back of Kyle Busch. Looks like maybe Ron's holding up these two a little bit.
Hornaday, a little bobble entering turn 1.
He just runs so hard, Phil. That foot's on the floorboard and just driving for all they're worth to try to keep those trucks pinned to the bottom.
Once again, it's James Buescher in front. Has about a half a second lead over Ron Hornaday.
Listen to that. That's so amazing. Let's see if he can hold it wide open down here in turn 1. Look at that, over 182 miles an hour at the start finish line, heading up toward 190 down in the turn.
187 in a pickup truck. They're running fast speeds of within a couple tenths of a second of the fastest lap of the race, as well as our pole speed.
Brendan Newberry.
He was penalized for changing lanes before he got to the start finish line, passing before he got to the start finish line. He was running in the 20th spot when he had to come to pit road.
Battle continues on the racetrack. Buescher in front of Hornaday, Kyle Busch, Ron Quiroga, and Joey Logano. They're your top 5. And back further in the field, Joey Coulter, Brendan Gaughan, Darrell Wallace Jr., Matt Crafton, and Ty Dillon, your top 10.
These are some of the trucks that pitted on this most recent caution flag. Jeb Burton was able to get by the 98 of Johnny Sauter. We're riding along with that Parts Plus Toyota for Timothy Peters.
I'm not sure the changes they were making on the truck of Johnny Sauter's have really helped that much. You can see he still looks like he's wiggling around. The truck's pretty loose. That's what he was reporting to his team when he came to pit road, and it doesn't look like it's gotten much better.
Looks like Bubba Wallace got a little bit loose at the entrance to the corner on the inside of the 62 South Point Chevrolet of Brendan Gaughan.
I remember when I raced these trucks on a 1.5 mile track, you would pretty much get a guy set up and then you would hold your breath, hoping when you made the move you could finish the pass, clear the truck you were after, and get back into that clean air. It's a real challenge with all the speed in the center of the corner that these trucks have to get those passes made, and it's a commitment to get it made too. You got to leave your foot down and hope you're able to clear them before you get to the turn.
Brendan Gaughan trying to stay out in front of that 88 of Matt Crafton.
Bubba Wallace was able to get by Brendan. That moved him up to the 7th spot. The battle between Brendan and Matt is for the 8th spot.
I've been impressed with Bubba Wallace since the first time I laid eyes on him. He can just get in anything and go fast, and he's proven it today. We got a battle for second. Check it out. Kyle Busch at the bottom of the track. Not only is he going to get second, it looked like he had thoughts of grabbing the lead too.
Making a run at the lead now. Kyle Busch just a truck length behind race leader James Buescher. spin and win, I believe we talked about earlier.
2 of his 14 wins on a mile-and-a-half track, he's spun and won. How about that? Could he go 3 for 15?
Kyle Busch has now closed the gap between he and James Buescher.
Kyle has a little bit of breathing room now behind him. Ron Hornaday's fallen back about 4 or 5 truck lengths.
You know, we talked at the top of the show, wondered if it would take sheer speed like the pole sitter 23-year-old James Buescher has in his Turner Scott truck, or if it would take handling and maybe possibly Kyle Busch and Joey Logano could race toward the front. It looks like either one of them will work right now, Phil. You've got the speed of Buescher on the point. Kyle Busch is second. Joey Logano has raced in the top 5, so he's got a good truck as well after starting 16th.
Remember, Kyle Busch has fresh tires because he put 4 tires on when he spun. James Buescher pitted on lap number 15, but that was for fuel only, so he's still on the same tires that he started the race with.
When you guys crawl into these trucks or cars, is it in the back of your mind the fact that Kyle Busch is on his 3rd engine this weekend? I mean, he's already had to change 2. Do you think that could happen again during this race?
Well, you're always concerned, especially like Phil said in his opening. We've got our foot on the floorboard all the way around this racetrack for the most part. And with all the downforce, these things are constantly, and the drag, they're constantly just battling to pull that truck through the air. So you appreciate and you respect what a challenge it is for that engine under the hood. And if it makes it all day long, you're thankful.
By the way, carry it to 187 miles an hour on the straightaway.
Riding along with James Buescher. He's had finishes this year of 13th, 14th, and 14th. Trying to make it back to victory lane. He's been here before. Won his first Truck Series race right here at Kansas. Down the chaos from Kansas. Plus, we take you behind the scenes with Winners Weekend as we revisit the race through the eyes of the top dog. NASCAR Race Hub, Monday at 6 Eastern, right here on Speed. Longest green flag run of the day. And James Buescher still holding on to now a pretty comfortable lead over Kyle Busch. 1.3 seconds separating the 2 trucks.
See Kyle go down on the inside to get around the Danny Eflin number 6 truck.
Been a couple good battles for position. Ivan Quiroga trying to battle with Hornaday, try to steal that 3rd spot away from him. A little bit farther back, race for 7.
Matt's rebounded. He fell back almost out of the top 10 after a shaky restart, but he's been able to get things gathered up, and now he's racing with Joey Logano. That's a good run for Matt back through the field.
Joey was running in the 5th spot, got caught up behind the lap truck and lost a couple spots to Joey Coulter and Bubba Wallace.
Looks like he's getting ready to lose another one to Matt Crafton. See Matt down on the bottom, able to just pull a little bit lower off the turn. Can't make it work, but that's how you make a pass here. You just get your nose down in that air, a little fresh air on that left front of the nose, and you can really pull around the guy. These two on the left side of your screen have been battling hard for that 3rd spot. Armand has been beside Ron a couple of times and can't get the pass finished.
We're on lap number 60 here. Again, the majority of our trucks pitted on lap number 15.
Ryan Sieg issues with the 39, slow on the apron.
Great start to the season for that young man, and tough break here today. Tough break at the end of Rockingham as well.
It felt like it was tightening up. You know what I mean? It felt like it was starting to lock down or something.
Could that be a sign of things to come, Phil?
Probably a motor issue. We saw a bunch of them yesterday.
I'll just go into the garage. It's not going to crank back up. I tried to put it in 4th. It won't crank. So I think the motor is.
Another issue with engines. Herman.
Well, Rick, Kyle Busch obviously back up to 2nd position on the racetrack after spinning earlier in the race, and his only complaint the last 20-25 laps is that of lap traffic. Although there's a lot of room on this racetrack, he's really asking his spotter to work with the lap traffic about holding their line. 2 times in the last 10 laps he's got caught having to lift for lap traffic, and as you guys know, as much momentum as this racetrack is, as he tries to pick for the lead, a little bit of getting out of the throttle can really cost you a lot of track position.
That's exactly what just happened. The 31 of James Busher had to check up for the 21, and around goes the 51. Kyle Busch to the point at Kansas.
31, 21, 51 hike. That's a lot of numbers, but that's how fast things happen. We've seen the 21 truck of Gallagher struggling even to keep from spinning out a couple times in practice and once already today, and he couldn't stay out of James Busher's way, and it lost James the lead.
So now Kyle Busch in front of the field. We'll see what Clean Air does for that truck. James Busher had the fastest truck in practice and qualifying.
Do you see how high Kyle went in that turn? We're watching this groove continue to inch up and up. I think that's just will continue, Phil, as these guys put those right sides up higher than they've been before. We didn't see throughout practice much going on up in the top, and now it's starting to develop a bit.
A lot of times the truck guys will rely on the Cup guys' practices on Saturday to move that groove up, and it didn't really do it as much as it normally does.
Pretty good run there for Kyle Busch as he entered turn 3. Put a little distance between himself and James Busher. Kyle Busch leading the field at Kansas. Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on Speed by Peak. Want to be a stock car racer? Visit peakstockcardream.com.
You can learn how to race a real car if you think you know what you're doing, Rick. You could even do it.
I can't. I'm going to actually host the show where we're going to find out who will be that stock car driver.
Nice.
Otherwise it might.
Then it would have been me.
Yeah.
We see the 51 of Kyle Busch in front of the field. Still, James Busher running second, about a half a second back. Hornaday and Quiroga have been battling for the 3rd spot for about the last 15 laps, right?
I've been keeping my eye on Ron Hornaday, guys. He said that he got in lap traffic and got really loose sideways, and he said it aggravated the right front tire, something terrible. He's tried to adjust with some of his air blowers, but he said he just doesn't know if that right front's going to hold out. But I'm hearing on pit road here that any minute now, next 2 or 3 laps, a majority of the trucks on my end will be coming down for a green flag pit stop.
I'm telling you, that 77 truck of Armin Quiroga, he's way faster than Ron. He's been beside him a couple times and just couldn't get the pass completed. Here comes Joey Logano to pit road.
Yeah, Joey Coulter has already been on pit road while we're away on commercial break. Hermie, what's going on with the 19?
Well, the further they fall back in the traffic, obviously the tighter that trucks get. They're going to take 4 tires, Sunoco fuel, and try to free this truck up a little bit with wedge. Ray?
James Busher will head down pit road. Michael Shelton said, I'd like to stretch it just a couple more laps, but he said, we can't take that chance. So they will come down here. Busher talking about being pretty good into the entry of the corner, a little bit loose coming off in his Rheem Chevrolet. So we'll watch the 31 come down here. It's expected that they'll get 4 tires. He had come to the pits on lap 72. As you mentioned at the top of the booth, last time he was on pit road was lap number 15. They'll hang 4 tires, put Sunoco fuel in this number 31. Hermie?
Well, Ray, the 62 of Brendan Gaughan's getting 4 tires, as is our leader, Kyle Busch, coming to pit road 1 lap earlier than he originally had decided to come. 4 tires, fuel, no adjustments for the 51.
There's a 9 of Hornaday left side of your screen. Ron gave up the 3rd spot. That gives the lead to Armin Quiroga. Big moment for him now. I'm sure it won't be long before he's on pit road. He's actually slowing now at the exit of turn number 4. Remember, this is a very difficult pit road to get slowed down by the speed line.
And you got to figure that Quiroga is going to give up some time on the racetrack. I watched him dive on the pit road a little bit earlier than I saw Kyle Busch, Ron Hornaday, and some of those guys that are used to coming on the pit road here at a place like Kansas. Armand took his time, got on pit road. I'm sure it'll cost him track position, but Ray, at least he made it on there safely.
And I just saw 4 tires and gas go on that Ideal Garage Doors number 88 Toyota for Matt Crafton. Crafton said when he gets on the front straightaway, he's amazed how much the air is bouncing around. In a group, you see the 77 getting tires too at the other end of pit road, and we've got a few guys that are still out on the racetrack yet to make their first pit stops.
Ray, a lot of guys pitted after that lap 15 pit stop that the majority of our field pitted on, but bad news is the 9 of Ron Hornaday was busted for speeding. He is serving his penalty now, just back onto pit road as we watch Quiroga leave pit road.
Tough break for the veteran. I talked about how fast I saw Hornaday come to pit road compared to Quiroga. Well, all that was for naught. He got busted.
So Hornaday having to serve the penalty of speeding on pit road.
You can't stop in your pit while serving.
Pass-through penalty, that's right.
You see right there, he just nowhere near being slowed down enough in that first segment, and that's where they got him, I'm sure.
Ray Dunlap.
And guys, he came in and put right side tires on because as he went back to the racetrack, Hornaday said he had a pretty bad vibration. So even though NASCAR told him to do a pass-through, they decided to go back to the right sides and hopefully rectify that problem.
It wouldn't have been hard to think that the things could have been loose that fast and feel it. Maybe so, but that means they'll have to come back through for a pass-through, I believe, Phil.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're allowed to work on the truck while you're serving a penalty.
Bubba Wallace in front of the field.
Yeah, the 9's being told on the radio they got to give a pass through. You can't stop like that.
And so he will take the hard left turn right now, get back onto pit road, slow it back down. All that 54 of Darrell Wallace Jr. in front of the field.
Darrell Wallace had a little bit of cushion on laps. He pitted on lap number 29. That's why he's able to go a little bit farther than the guys that have been coming to pit road. Jeb Burton, remember, pitted on lap number 36, so he has about 7-lap cushion over what Bubba Wallace does.
And Hornaday continues to serve that penalty.
That was a truck that was running in the top 5, and that's going to cost him his day. A couple of laps here, I bet. With all the trucks, all the green flag running here, there's a bunch of trucks a lap down. It'd be hard to think he could ever get 2 lucky passes.
Top 9 have not been on pit road, at least under this most recent section of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, a lot of these guys pitted early in the race, so they're running it out, taking advantage of leading the race right now.
Darrell Wallace Jr. in front of young Jeb Burton, Ty Dillon, Ryan Blaney, and Johnny Sauter, your top 5. A few trucks were caught on pit road when the caution came out, so probably will be taking advantage of the wave around rule.
Yeah, I think we'll have a slew of wave arounds.
A slew. Is that more than 10?
Yes.
One of those being the 98. We saw a little bit of damage to the right front of that truck, and then you see
debris fly from it,
yeah.
And it was picked up by Clay Greenfield. That can cause an engine to blow up there. That's why when something's flying around on the track, you got to put out the caution flag and get that debris cleaned up.
They've done it. Jeb Burton, your race leader, on pit road. Hermie.
Todd Bodine says he wants no changes to his truck. He likes the way it drives. A little bit free on entry early in the run, but it comes to him. No changes. 4 tires and Sunoco fuel for the 13. Ray?
Ty Dillon has his Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet coming in. They're going to work on that. He said he's pretty good on entry, but very tight coming off of the corner. They're going to put 4 tires on for him. I'm also in the 4 pits. Here's Jeb Burton in his Arrowhead Silverado. They have a little bit of a trouble pulling off the right front tire. That'll cost him just a tiny bit of time. Jeb Burton said he's a little bit tight, so they'll make an air pressure adjustment for him. They're going to hang those 4 tires, but he will lose a position. The 3 will go past him on the exit of pit road.
That 3 bunch don't mess around down there on pit road, do they?
No, sure don't. Great pit work by them. Timothy Peters, you see him gain 4 spots on pit road.
So it's been some pretty rough racing around this racetrack, even between teammates. 31 and 32 having issues early. Welcome back. Just past the halfway point as we take an AT&T race break.
I like a good AT&T race break. You can see hard racing. Kyle Busch off turn 4, gets into the, almost gets in the side of Ty Dillon, winds up sliding through the grass and mowing it down. He rebounded though, grabbed the lead after that.
John West Townley issues with the 7 after everyone checked up in front of him.
Yeah, more of a chain reaction. Looked like Ty Dillon got a little bit loose, made a little bit of contact, chased it up the hill, slowed everybody down.
Teammates with issues racing for the lead. Miguel Paludo and the 31 of James Buescher.
We saw Buescher get into the side of Pluto and spin him around. That's the second time Pluto had been hit. The first time he saved it, the second time he wasn't able to.
James Buescher lost a little bit of momentum due to lap traffic, and it allowed Kyle Busch to take the lead. Remember, spin and then take the lead.
That doesn't rhyme with spin.
But I get where he's going with it.
Yeah, I can't say he went spin and win. He hasn't done it yet.
That's a good point.
He's done it twice before, though, on mile-and-a-half tracks, but hasn't done it yet today.
Getting ready for the restart. Ty Dillon is going to be your race leader.
Remember, this is the toughest part of the race for these guys when they're stacked up side by side. That's when the action usually happens. So watch these guys closely. Dillon down on the bottom. Hadn't had one of the best trucks here today. The lineup got all jumbled up through that caution during green flag pit stops.
11 took the wave around. Ty Dillon, Jeb Burton back on the gas. Green flag back in the air. Getting out of line, Joey Coulter in the 18. Trying to get by Max Gresham.
Remember these trucks that are running up front. Oh, a little bit of contact back there. Looks like Gresham got a little shot from, was it Jennings?
14 of
Brendan Newberry. How these trucks got up here was they stayed out when trucks made green flag pit stops because they pitted on later caution flags.
Look at Jeb Burton up the hill, giving Ty Dillon plenty of room. Ty was knocked down on the bottom of the racetrack, and heads up move there by Burton to give him plenty of room on the bottom, because nothing good comes from crowding the guy underneath of you.
So Kyle Busch down on the apron. He got the free pass. He was the first truck one lap down when the caution flag came out. Now he's well up into the top 10.
Here comes Todd Bodine battling for the second spot with Jeb Burton.
Remember, we used to call Todd Mr. Mile and a Half. Todd has won a bunch of these things on mile and a half. Kyle Busch now has the most wins on mile and a half. Ooh, was that Kyle that got loose and had to chase it up the hill?
Sure did.
Wow.
Checks up a bit, loses a momentum. Ryan Blaney looks to the inside, trying to get by.
Here comes our man Kuroga trying to get under Kyle as well. So you talked earlier, Phil, this is such a momentum track because you're, oh, watch out.
Kuroga sideways.
Into Kyle Busch. It looks as though contact with the wall, the 2 spin.
Lock her down, lock her down.
It happens yet again. We saw Kuroga racing Ron Hornaday for 15 or 20 laps, trying to get that spot, trying to get by him side by side.
Go to the garage.
Yeah, he raced Ron side by side for 15 laps, never made a mistake. That was the first time he got near Kyle and just ran into him. That one's kind of hard to figure out, Phil.
Yeah, Kyle unfortunately is not going to be able to recover from that spin to have a shot at winning this race. We heard him say go straight to the garage.
You can see Kyle gets loose right there, loses momentum. That opens the bottom for a couple trucks to come by. You can see Ryan Blaney diving under him, and then Kuroga dives under him, and off turn 2 looked like Kuroga just got loose under Kyle, and when he tried to correct it, into the side of the 51 truck.
Yeah, a lot of damage to both of those Toyota trucks.
That's interesting because it was really tough for Armand to run underneath Hornaday like he did. He was able to pass that test, understand how to run under him and not make a mistake. That time, as soon as he drove up on Kyle, he lost it.
And so 2 trucks into the wall. Kyle Busch, who had been up front. We're going to ride along with Kyle, starting back in turn 3, where he has a little bit of a bobble.
You heard him come out of the gas and correct it. Now he's got it going again. Going to be some traffic come to the left. Let's listen down here in turn 1 and 2 and see what we can hear.
It was just a slight tap. That's all it took. We didn't even hear the contact, and Kyle pretty much ran that corner wide open. May have come out of the throttle just a little bit, but he had lost that momentum that allowed Ryan Blaney to go by, and that allowed Herman to get up beside him.
Kyle Busch out of the truck, back in the garage. That team's going to go to work on it. You can tell Kyle Busch not happy. Looks as though he's calling it a day. So once again under caution from Kansas. Monday on Are You Faster Than a Redneck? It's time to rally the Mullet Mafia to face off with an import driving Army Staff Sergeant. Don't miss an encore presentation of Are You Faster Than a Redneck? That's Monday night, 9 Eastern, only on Speed.
A lot of wildlife around here.
There's a lot of businesses that have sprouted up just outside of the racetrack area here.
Kind of reminds you of the Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte. All the shopping and hotels and malls that have been built since we've been racing there. This place just had it happen a lot quicker.
Ty Dillon and Jeb Burton are 1 and 2. Dillon has chose the inside line. It looks as though they're going to go around again. The lights coming back on the pace car.
That was a great opportunity. Take another look at the wreck here. You see Quiroga on the inside, just has to chase it up the hill. We see it happen all the time. We talked about it. It happened to Kyle early in the race at the exit of turn number 4. It happens, unfortunately, for Kyle being on the outside coming off turn number 2. This caution, though, was a real break, as we're going to watch another look of it for the guys that took the wave around the last lap. Now they're able to pit, get back in cycle with everybody. A lot of damage, though, to the Toyota, Care Toyota for Todd. I'm sorry, there's Todd Bodine for Kyle Busch.
Hermie.
Well, you guys talking about Todd Bodine in the 13 truck here for ThorSport and a champion in this series and great record on 1.5 racetracks. And I don't know if he could get to victory lane today if he's ever had a bigger win in his career. As we've all talked about, this truck, as of right now, this is scheduled to be the last race for Todd in this 13 at ThorSport. So the best way to try to keep it going and find sponsorship is to go to victory lane, and Todd is trying to do just that. Ray?
Hermie, taking a look at that 3 truck out front, keep in mind that for every lap that Ty leads in the month of April, Drive for COPD will plant 5 trees in conjunction, I should say, with NASCAR's Green Initiative. So hopefully they're going to get some trees planted today. Ty Dillon hasn't led in April, but today looks like he's got that 3 truck dialed in, ready to go out and lead some laps and plant some trees.
Take a look at race summary after 94 laps. Ty Dillon out front, 9 different leaders, 11 lead changes, 6 cautions for 27 laps. About ready to go back to green flag racing. It's Ty Dillon and Jeb Burton making up row 1. Buescher, Bodine in 2, Peters and Blaney in 3. Green flag back in the air.
You know, at the start of this race, guys, we were worried about the engines failing, but I'm worried about having enough trucks to make it to the end with all this action. Look at that, 3 wide in turn 4 wide, do we see?
Ooh, Johnny Sauter went down there to make it 3 wide. It turned into 4 wide. He had to get out of the throttle.
Brendan Gaughan's got Darrell Wallace all over the back of him. Be interesting to see what this 98 truck of Johnny Sauter is able to do. They haven't been right all day. We talked about them coming into this race with a bunch of momentum after a good start to the season. If they can get this baby tuned up after losing an engine yesterday and get a good top 5 finish out of it, look for him to really be a threat for this championship. Days like today is what makes you a champion.
Not a good restart for Ty Dillon. He goes all the way back to 3rd. Jeb Burton out front.
Big time wiggle for Matt Crafton. Timothy Peters checked up a little bit to give himself some room to get underneath Crafton.
And that checking up with Peters on the bottom lost him his momentum, and here comes the whole world after him.
There's Joey Logano. Joey's still on the lead lap right now, just outside of the top 10. See Bubba Wallace at 54 right in front of Joey.
There's Sauter up to the left in front of Wallace, and there's Brendan Gaughan. And look in front of Brendan Gaughan. There's Max Gresham, had some contact on pit road, but running solidly in the top 10. Good run for Max.
See, Joey jumps to the inside of Brendan Gaughan to try to make a pass.
Brendan Gaughan scored in the 9th spot. We'll see if he can hang on now as a lot of
Whoa, he ran him into the
trucks,
wall.
and into the wall goes Max Gresham.
I think that was a situation where Johnny Sauter, as we see the battle for the lead between Jeb Burton and James Busher. Johnny Sauter lost his truck. He was fortunate enough, he was far enough ahead of Max Gresham. He emerged unscathed, but not so fortunate for Max Gresham.
Yeah, Johnny went up the hill and Max paid the price.
Jeb Burton's got his hands full. Again, teammates running 1 and 2. Jeb Burton just in front of the 31 of James Busher. Take another look at what happened just moments ago.
Watch Sauter.
You could see his truck start moving up the hill there. And Max absolutely had nowhere to go.
Such a shame for Max, too. What a great run he was having. It's like either Johnny didn't know he was there or he lost the back of the truck and had to correct or something, because Max didn't do anything wrong. He was just trying to find a little bit of racetrack, and Johnny took all of his racetrack away from him. They were racing for the 8th position, and Max was really coming, so tough day for him. Uh-oh, something's wrong with
Logano
Joey.
in the 19 has steam coming out. Base of the windshield said oil pump belt once again.
That's what happened to him in practice, but you see the steam coming out at the base of the windshield.
Pop the hood, pop the hood.
Still a great battle for the lead on the right side of your screen. Jeb Burton in front of that 31. Let's hear about what's going on with the 19, Hermie.
Well, you guys talked about the same issue as yesterday. Lost an oil pump belt. And I can't see under the hood like they can, but the crew guys raised the hood and said, cut it off, go to the garage. 19, engine trouble.
What a tough break here. This racetrack has caused some engine problems here.
Yeah, and it's caused truck problems too. We've had trucks into the wall, trucks spinning around, engines blowing up. And a couple of the trucks we talked about that Kyle Busch and Joey Logano would have to go through to win. Turner Scott running 1-2. Kyle and Joey both in the garage area.
Jeb Burton goes to the apron, trying to shake the 31 of James Busher.
Yeah, I don't really like that right now, Rick. When you drop off the track, oh, got a truck into the wall. Jeff Agnew high off turn 4. He keeps it going. There's a lot of sparks, though. I don't know if this will be a debris caution. I believe that's going to cause a caution.
Right side of that truck, the right front looks to be down.
Yeah, get it down below the line. Get it down below the line. Below the line. We just blew it right front.
They made a lot of contact with the outside wall, hard contact with the outside wall. Meanwhile, our Turner Scott Motorsports teammates up here 1 and 1-2. Remember, this is the race last year that James Busher got to victory lane finally for the first time. Could it happen for Jeb Burton?
I was just saying, I don't like dropping off the track lap after lap after lap, hitting that splitter. That splitter is important. It adds downforce to the front of these trucks. We've talked about aero all day long. You need that splitter to be intact all the way to the checker. You bounce off that front straightaway and bounce off that front straightaway, then eventually
you're clear by 3. Check up here. Check up, check up, check up here.
Eventually you'll eat up your splitter, and that's not good.
And we're hearing debris on the racetrack, probably from that 27 of Jeff Agnew. Bringing the caution out for the 7th time.
See, Jeff was not able to make it back around to pit road. Here's another view of it.
They said he blew it right front, but looks like he just got loose down in the corner, and watch, overcorrects it and into the wall.
Yeah, after he made contact with the wall, then the right front tire went down, but that was not what caused that. You see him get loose there on the inside of Spencer Gallagher. Just ran out of room.
And this is James
Michael
Busher's,
Shelton.
Yep, James Busher's crew chief.
Remember, these guys will have to make another pit stop. This is a little bit outside their pit window here with 63 laps to go.
They're coming.
If they come now, you see Jeb Burton. No, he's going to fake them. He's not coming.
Well, only person he faked was me, because everybody else can say you can fake all you want, but
Brendan
you're on the track.
Gaughan is coming, and what that does.
I tried to cost you this damn race one time today. He's doing it again.
Yeah, that was Mike Hellman Jr., Jeb Burton's crew chief. Brendan Gaughan's coming down pit road now. If he fills it up with fuel, he's going to put tires on it. That means his next pit stop, Michael, all he will need is probably a splash of fuel. That could work out for him.
And we saw early in the race Kyle Busch racing against James Busher. Kyle on new tires, James on old ones, and Kyle really couldn't go anywhere. So I think you're calling it just right, Phil. Let's use some strategy if we're in the back, and let's play this baby out.
Could you potentially not have to come back down pit road? Maybe a caution comes out, you stay out.
Well, if you get enough caution laps, but with 60, they pit with 62 laps to go, though, he's going to need about 10, 12 caution laps probably.
All right, so the issue takes place for Jeff Agnew. We've got Debris on the racetrack, bringing out the caution. The biggest event in NASCAR is here on May 18th. The NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race returns to speed. You don't want to miss this bare knuckle brawl in NASCAR's own backyard. NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race May 18th. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern, live on Speed. Construction continuing around the racetrack. Looks like an office building going in just outside of the backstretch. And let's go back to pit road and right.
Well, guys, Harold Hawley may have made the call of the race here moments ago on lap 105. He brought his driver Joey Coulter down that Darrell Gwynn truck, and they put fuel in that thing. I just ran over to Harold and said, how many more laps of caution do you need? He said 4 or 5 will get us in our window. They may not have to pit again, while the other guys who stayed out certainly have to come back to pit road. So it could be a great track position deal for driver of number 18.
Well, regardless, I like it. We've seen a lot of cautions. Put yourself in a position to make something happen. And that truck's been fast all day. I believe in my mind that you can survive new tires late in the going and still get the win. So I like mixing it up. That's what we saw Brendan Gaughan's team do.
And he put tires on too. So Brendan has fresh tires. We know all he'll need is a splash at the end of the race at the most.
That's definitely going to get those guys track position. Even if they come to pit road, have to grab a little gas, the other trucks will need to spend more time on pit road, meaning that Brendan can pass a lot of them.
Out in front, it's Jeff Burton and James Buescher making up row number 1. Burton chooses the inside line, Buescher on the outside. Ty Dillon, Ryan Blaney, Todd Bodine, Timothy Peters, Matt Crafton, James Darrell Wallace Jr., Johnny Sauter, and Joey Coulter, your top 10. Green flag back in the air.
Remember, Jeff Burton, James Buescher have to be careful. We saw what happened when teammates were racing early on with Miguel Paludo and James Buescher. Give each other a lot of room there now.
And you can see that's exactly what Buescher's doing. There's a good truck width between those two. Buescher is not pinching Burton down, allowing them both to race off turn 2 cleanly.
Going into turn 3, still side by side. 2 and 3 wide behind the top 2.
Bunch of Thorsport trucks lined up in the inside, still dead even.
Oh, we had a crash in turn 4.
And the 21 involved in another issue. That's Spencer Gallagher with a lot of damage to the right front. Caution comes out again. Now
we're good.
Pretty smart here for Harold Hawley.
Yeah, and Brendan Gaughan, Shane Wilson, and all the guys that pitted on lap number 105.
But that doesn't really change a whole lot. I don't know if
just a few more caution laps.
It helps them tremendously. Yeah. We'll have to see what the leaders. I don't think if you didn't pit on 105, you're not going to pit now.
We did talk about the pit window being 52 to 57, so we're going to be right at
just
it.
Outside the pit window right now, possibly. You see the 81 truck of David Starr, left front tire down on that car or truck. Excuse me.
Oh,
and Spencer Gallagher comes in there, obviously not aware of the fact that the 81 was slow on the high side and ran into the back of him.
Well, their pits wasn't open that time, I don't think, guys. So we'll have to wait a lap to see what kind of drama develops here with the leaders, whether they come to pit road or not. It looks like they're preparing to come to pit road.
Yeah, this is the fluid that truck just brought in, Spencer Gallagher. We see it all over the racetrack here. This is going to be a fairly significant cleanup.
And that's right in front of James Buescher's pit stall. So that's his crew is over there. Oh, it's actually one of the turn-ins, so it was in front of the Ty Dillon's pit stall.
Look at all that oil.
We can see a large path of it on the racetrack. They're putting the Speedsorb down now, so this will probably result in enough caution laps for Joey Coulter, Harold Hawley to get in their window. If they needed 4 or 5 more laps, they're going to get it right here.
And we know Brendan Gaughan's all set.
And Brendan with fresh tires. So I think a great call by Shane Wilson, Harold Hawley, and all the other guys that came down pit road on that caution flag on lap 105, 106.
Don't you think maybe you got to pit, Phil? I mean, we've seen a lot of caution laps. We are outside the pit window, we think, or right on the very edge of it. But
I think if I'm Michael Shelton with a 31 truck and Mike Hillman Jr., I'm going to bring him in now, knowing we're going to have enough caution laps to get us in the window. We come in now maybe before the other guys, and we'll have track position in front of them that maybe would pit a lap or 2 later.
It might be a while before pit road's open, though, since they're going to do a lot of cleanup on pit road.
Yeah, I think as soon as pit road's open, yeah, you certainly don't want to pit early and have to be penalized and go to the tail end of the longest line for pitting early. But I think if I'm Michael Shelton and I'm Mike Hillman Jr., as soon as pit road opens, I'm coming. No doubt.
Continuing to put the speed zorb down. The team of Ty Dillon is going to work on trying to clean up that area just in front of his pit stall. So again, fluid. Pretty extensive cleanup is going to have to take place here at Kansas as the SFP 250 presented by Peak continues. A lot of fluid put down on the racetrack from about the center of turn 3 all the way down pit road and actually into the garage area, and they have put speed zorb down, the speedy dry, and are starting to clean that up. But because the trucks are on pit road, they're keeping pit road closed.
A couple of those crew chiefs down there feel like plumb geniuses right now.
Absolutely. They know they're going to have track position. They know that these guys will not have to pit under green because, you know, we're going to be well into our pit window, but probably by the time that pit road opens.
I'm really not understanding for sure what happened here.
Well, David Starr had a left front tire go down.
I got the part you can see. I just don't know how 21 got up there and did that.
Ran into him.
Maybe he let off the gas and somebody got in the back of him and knocked him up the hill. So that video is inconclusive to me because I'm sure that
he just didn't drive up there.
Gallagher didn't just go up high and hit him. I mean, he did, but I'm saying something else.
Something may have caused it, other than the obvious.
Service master, the vacuum trucks cleaning up the speed zorb right now, focusing on the entrance to pit road and pit road.
We only have 20 trucks on the track, 21 trucks on the track. That tells you what kind of attrition we've been through and how crazy this race has been. And we thought it was going to be, you know, we had some people wonder yesterday what kind of race we would have, and we thought it would be action packed, and that's certainly been the case. Trucks all over the place, lots of good action at the front, competitive racing.
Oh yeah, 2 guys racing for the lead, get into each other. That takes Miguel Paludo out. James Busher has been able to pretty much stay unscathed as he is out in front of the field now. And we're hearing that NASCAR has opened pit road, so pits are open now as they're working their way through 3 and 4.
They're all coming.
We've got to come, Michael. Yeah. We have to come.
And making the hard left turn, your race leader James Busher in front of the field. Herming.
29 of Ryan Blaney comes to pit road for what they hope will be his final stop. A little bit of a tight condition. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, and pack it with Sunoco fuel. Ray?
Ty Dillon is going to try to get some track position by going only right side tires. They're going to go up 2 rounds on the track bar on that Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet. 2 tires only. James Busher is in at the front pit stall. He is getting ready to put tires and fuel on that one. There is a lug nut, though, that is sitting right in front of Busher's pit stop. He'll have to be careful. Busher comes in as the leader. He's going to lose a lot of spots by getting 4 tires. The first 7 or 8 trucks have left pit road. Busher gets 4 in fuel. He will roll out. He misses the lug nut. However, he's going to lose a lot of track position going from 1st to about 10th or 11th.
A lot of racing left, though, boys.
He's lost 9 spots on pit road.
As good as that truck is, but he has his work cut out for him for sure. You know, we talked about Harold Holley and Joey Coulter, Brendan Gaughan, Shane Wilson. We're going to see what happened with James Busher's pit stop here. He's in trouble getting the right front tire off. That's going to slow him down a little bit.
Must get worse than that at some point.
Again, a lot of these trucks with fuel only. That's why, I mean, he hasn't been on pit road that long. I think all those trucks, Michael, have fuel only. Matt Crafton also behind him.
Ty Dillon also has a slow stop.
We talked about this 3 team being on it when it comes to pit road. This pit stop didn't go as smoothly.
Just right side tires for Ty Dillon.
Yeah, I figured some people might try right side tires and fuel only. And we talked at the beginning of the show. There's going to be strategy that makes the decision in this race.
Herming.
Just want to update the 29. They had been talking about 4 tires, change it to a 2-tire stop as the 29 truck was rolling into his pit stall. So he only has 2 right side tires. I asked Doug Randolph, can you make it the rest of the way? And he said, with their best fuel mileage estimate and using every drop, they can make it to the last lap.
Well, Michael, you were asking or questioning what happened with the 21 of Spencer Gallagher and David Starr. Similar issue here on pit road.
Oh.
Heats up as the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series charges into Charlotte for a beating and banging bash in NASCAR's backyard. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live May 17th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Always a great show under the lights at Charlotte.
I love going to Charlotte. These trucks so fast, and the all-star race, man, that's everything you want.
Laps winding down, 51 to go.
We talked about the pit stop strategy for Harold Holly and Joey Coulter and what that's resulted in. He only had to spend so little time on pit road. They have the lead. Why don't we see if we can talk to Joey, our leader? Hey, Joey Coulter, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You got a copy?
I got you loud and clear.
So you guys had a great strategy. Harold brought you in that caution before this one and did your work. Now all you had to do was come in and get a little bit of a splash, and you've got the lead. Can you hold on to it?
I think so. This 18 Tundra has been good all day here. We'll just we'll see what we got on this restart here, and we'll go wrap this one up.
What are you thinking on this restart, inside or outside, Joey?
I'm going to take the top here. My truck ain't a big fan of getting stuck on the bottom, so I think we're gonna stick with this top.
All right, buddy. Great job so far. Finish it off.
Thanks.
Joey Coulter, one career win. It came at Pocono a year ago.
Third in points last year. Had a great season for RCR. Moved over to KBM. Got a real strong Turner Scott Motorsports truck on the inside, though, with Jeb Burton.
Ray Dunlap.
Guys, at the top of the show, Michael was saying he thought pit strategy could play a big difference. So my question to you, in the booth, we see Buscher back there in 10th. Right behind him, Sauter and Crafton. All three of those trucks got 4 tires on this last pit stop. We've still got 50 laps to go. Will that be an advantage?
I think so, Ray. I really like the 31 truck of James Buscher on new tires. He's fast, been fast since he got here. Now he has better tires than the trucks ahead of him. There's a lot of laps to go. Plenty of racing left. I think if he can just survive all the restarts that we're prepared to see, he could still win this baby.
Remember Brendan Gaughan restarting up in the top 4. He put 4 tires on the caution before this and just ran, what, 1 lap or so.
So apparently you don't think we're done with cautions.
I don't. And history tells me that we're not. This place has just been action-packed since they reconfigured it. Speeds are up, grip is down, and we're having fun.
Joey Coulter on the outside. Green flag back in the air. Jeb Burton looks as though he might have missed a shift coming up to the start-finish line. And here comes Brendan Gaughan looking to the inside for the lead.
Remember, Brendan has 4 fresh tires. He's going to run this corner wide open, but Joey stays up there with him.
Good run through the corner by Coulter. Got a nice push off. It's like they're trying to, Jeb's going to go 3 wide on the inside of Brendan. He's going to make it, too.
Yeah, Brendan had to give him room. Jeb was there.
Jeb Burton has the inside line. Joey Coulter now working the outside line, trying to hold on to that lead. Jeb Burton has the advantage as they come to the stripe. Here comes Brendan Gaughan once again. 2 and 3 wide as they go to turn 1.
That's amazing that Jeb had such a poor restart, and he was able to take the lead on that lap.
Brendan's losing his nose, coming up on track.
And behind him with a 13 of Todd Bodine gets into the wall.
And hard contact from the 99 of Brian Silas.
You all right, Todd?
Another truck involved behind them.
Yeah, I'm all right.
A lot of debris. NASCAR is letting us know that a red flag situation is going to come up because of the debris all over the racetrack. Big hits. Todd into the wall, and then another contact. The 14 of Brendan Newberry involved.
I think the 99 is the one that came along and made contact with Todd after Todd had already gotten to the wall.
Brian Silas, his truck is really torn apart on the right side. He doesn't have a door anymore.
Yeah, he's coming down pit road now.
A lot of that sheet metal is up on the racetrack that we're just looking at.
He still has a door, it's just not on.
It's open.
See the right front not even turning. Go straight to the garage with that truck. What a tremendous crash by Todd Bodine.
Yeah, Todd's out of the truck. We saw him walking. He's about to climb into the ambulance. They'll take him to the infield care center, check him out.
Todd was up in the top 10. He was running in the 10th spot.
Not only did he get clobbered by Silas, and you can see the damage there on Brian's truck, but then he went hard into that outside wall too. So a couple of back-to-back heavy blows for Todd Bodine.
And while Todd was spinning up front behind him, Brendan Newberry was also spinning and got into the wall.
Well, and also Brendan Gaughan lost his truck coming off turn 2. He didn't spin out, but he lost grip in the front of the truck and almost wiped out the front of the field.
Here's Newberry. He gets into the 13, into the wall he goes.
He got loose on the inside. There comes the 99 of Brian Silas.
Bam, up in the air when he hits that outside wall.
All 4 tires up off the racetrack when Todd made contact.
Watch slow motion here. Great camera angle, guys. Watch this thing fling into that outside wall.
And that was a hard hit by the 99 of Brian Silas, but all 4 tires up off the racetrack. Brendan Newberry, right side of his screen, already into the outside wall.
Brendan just lost that truck underneath the 13, got into it. We've seen that before earlier in this race.
Wow.
Big contact and then the hard hit into the wall once again.
Most of the stuff that he had to take that hard hit from when he hit with the left front, Brian Silas had already tore a lot of it off. So that's a real tough blow when you hit the wall with a damaged truck.
With all the safety workers out on the track cleaning up the debris, NASCAR is going to stop the field before the start-finish line.
I like this move. We've had a lot of wrecks, a lot of cautions, but a lot of excitement. NASCAR is going to give us some more time to settle this baby. A lot of laps left, a lot of action still ahead of us.
There the trucks are again, stopped just short of the start-finish line. The incident took place in the center of turn 2 and then continued on through the backstretch, and there you see a lot of debris needs to be picked up. So you're going to have a lot of people out walking the racetrack. It's a lot easier for them to do that without trucks going by.
Yeah, great call by NASCAR to throw the red flag and stop the field.
Hooking up the 99 of Brian Silas. Almost looks like a steering wheel out on the racetrack.
It's a fan, it looks like. An electric fan that goes behind the radiator. Wow, look at the damage.
And definitely came off of that 13. You see the radiator just barely hanging on.
That was looking for a good run. We've documented the fact that this was the last run at this point with Todd in this ThorSport truck, and was up in the top 10 looking for another good run. And here we take another look at the 14 of Brendan Newberry. Get a little bit loose, had to chase that truck up the hill, then made contact with Todd, and then it's on from there.
Just showing so many trucks get loose on the inside of others. It just really makes you appreciate, you know, kids like Jeb Burton and Joey Coulter, Darrell Wallace Jr., who haven't really been in these situations before, Phil, but yet they're able to learn and survive them, put laps in and get in those spots and get through those spots. I know it's really hard, so I mean, nothing against Brendan Newberry because it's a difficult thing to accomplish, but when the others don't do it, you really have to give them credit.
Most cautions from Kansas have been 12 back in 2008. We've already had 9 with 47 laps to go.
There goes the Newberry truck back to the garage area.
We've got the 13 of Todd Bodine hooked up. They'll pull that back into the garage as well. But again, it's the safety crew, excuse me, safety crew that's out on the racetrack picking up the debris that took place from that hit right there. Race is presented on speed by Peak. Want to be a stock car racer? Visit peakstockcardream.com. Brought to you in part by Camping World, America's largest retailer of RVs, parts, accessories, and service. Visit campingworld.com today. By Bass Pro Shops, your adventure starts here. And by Aleve, 2 pills all day strong, all day long. 9th caution from Kansas Speedway for the Camping World Truck Series. And let's hear from crew chief Mike Shelton. He's with Ray.
Standing on top of the Ream Chevrolet pit box, and Michael Shelton is here. And Michael, 4-tire call on that last pit stop. It looked like it worked out pretty good. James went from 10th to 5th in 1 lap.
Yeah, I mean, you give him 4 tires late in the race, and he's hard to beat. I mean, it worked for us last year here. The Ream Chevy's been outstanding all day. We just kind of got off sequence a little bit there. We're good to go on fuel here. I think you see a cycle on those 2 tires stops there, and he'll go the front.
This has been a strange race today. A lot more cautions than I expected. How do you think it's going to play out from here to the end?
I mean, I keep thinking it'll go green. It went green in the middle part of the race there when we really didn't need it to, but got caught out there, ended up a lap down on a green flag stop. But I keep waiting it to go green, but it just doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't understand all the cautions, but it's been interesting. It's been different for sure.
All right, and 1 year ago, you guys got your first victory right here at Kansas. How cool would it be to back that up?
Oh, if we could back it up, that'd be great. This team's great, and we got the best guys in the business. We just need a little bit of momentum, get our season turned around, and get headed for that next championship.
All right, we wish you good luck. 12 races here at Kansas. We've had 12 different winners. James Busher, one of those on the list, hoping to change that stat.
Michael Shelton down there on the pit box says he doesn't understand all these cautions. He ought to be up here with us. He would understand them perfectly fine. There's some serious racing going on out there.
All the way around the track.
We talked to Michael Shelton, crew chief for James Busher. Now let's talk to James Busher. Hey, James Busher, Phil Parsons up in the speed booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Phil.
James, you breathing a sigh of relief now that you're up back in the top 5 after restarting in the 10th spot there? You know you have 4 fresh tires.
Yeah, I mean, I know we have a fast ream Chevy today, and our pit strategy makes us have to pass a lot of guys on these restarts and stuff, but I think it's going to work out for the best, and I think we got a truck good enough to get up there and race with my teammate for the lead. Just got to stay out of trouble. Seems like it's a hard thing to do today, but I just got to say I feel terrible about getting into my teammate earlier, the 32, and clipping him and taking him out of the lead. So hopefully we get up there and win it for Turner Scott Motorsports and try to get to victory lane.
James, we've seen that happen a lot today where the truck on the inside gets loose or loses the front end, whatever the case may be. Try to explain to the viewers how difficult and challenging it is to be underneath somebody to try to make that pass.
Well, when you're running wide open around here at Kansas Speedway, you're really relying on the right side of your truck a lot. Aerodynamically, it's kind of like a billboard out there catching the air. So when there's a truck outside of you, it takes all that side force away and makes it really easy to get loose underneath guys. So I've been doing my best to give everybody plenty of room when I'm on the outside, and I just got loose under them, and it's definitely tough.
Well, James, we appreciate you talking to us. Have a good one the rest of the way, bud.
Thank you.
Well, from James Busher on the racetrack to the infield care center, Brendan Newberry involved in that crash. If we need a reminder how fast you guys are going, a lot of carnage on the back straightaway. Are you okay? And tell us what happened.
Yeah, well, Hermie, you hate reminders too, man. That's not fun when you're going that fast and you getting something like that. From the beginning of the week in NCWTS Motorsports, my guys at Purdue, they worked so hard, and they really put this truck together, and man, it was really fast. We had a little problem there in practice, and we kind of had to repair it a little bit, but they got it back, and it was fast, and we didn't get the qualifying that we wanted to, so that kind of put us back in the beginning, and yeah, that's kind of what it felt like, and the impact hurt, but luckily these guys put good trucks together, and they put a lot of safety around this, and NASCAR's done a good job about that. So like I said, we didn't qualify where we wanted to, so we got shuffled back, had to come back from a couple laps down, and they just worked so hard, and it's just a bummer. We had such a fast truck. We had Hy-Vee on the truck this weekend. We had Prayers for Boston, so we really wanted to get a good run for them, and it sucks. I know Todd was racing hard, I was racing hard, and we just got to give each other more room out there sometimes, and I know it was coming down there to the end, and we want to run really well for our teams, and it just sucks we're out of this one. But they'll have one in a couple weeks, and we'll get to go and try to do better then.
That's the thoughts of Brendan Newberry. Ray?
And Hermie, I had documented that Busher, Crafton, and Sauter all put on 4 tires. Busher and Crafton were able to make their way up through the pack and pick up a few spots. Sauter not so much. He's currently in 9th, and he's been on the radio talking with his crew chief, Joe Shear, saying that he believes there's a chance they have a tire going down on that Carolina Nut Toyota. So the spotters are keeping a look at it, but we may see the 98 have to come to pit road if indeed the tire is back down. Now back to pit road and Hermie.
Yeah, we're catching Todd Bodine out of the infield care center, talking to Brendan. Hard impact for you out there on the racetrack. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. If you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough, right? And I'm as tough as they come. But, I mean, running got loose. It's just one of those things in racing. I think what we really need here Yeah, it was pretty tough. It was. I think what we really need here is a lot more side force in these trucks, so that we absolutely cannot run side by side. It's hard enough with the side force we got, the way the aerodynamics are right now. You know, a guy like Brennan, he's a great kid and he's got a great future. He's a good driver, but you know, you can't. See, I mean, I didn't even pinch him down, and it just sucked him around, and that's what happens in these trucks. And you know, unfortunately, a kid like Brennan doesn't have a lot of experience, and he arced it way in the corner, expecting it to stick like it would stick every other lap, and when somebody's outside of you, it just doesn't, and you get sucked around. We need to work on aerodynamics in these things. Take some side force off so we can run side by side.
This was a big race for you, trying to continue the season with the Thor Sport team. Can we expect to see you guys in Charlotte, or what is the plan for Todd Bodine?
Well, I hope so. You know, I hope Duke and Ron Thorson are still up on this whole thing. I mean, it's been tough. Wreck last week at Rockingham, wreck again this week. We had a great truck though. Oh man, I tell you, the thing, it was so good through the corner, stable, and we were just biding our time, just trying to position ourselves right. We had enough fuel right there. We were going to make it to the end, and just didn't get there.
That's to Todd Bodine from the Care Center. Rick.
Thanks, Irving. Still under a red flag condition. They have got most of the debris off of the racetrack in turns 2 in the backstretch. Let's recap what's taken place. Kyle Busch early in this one goes for a wild ride to the infield.
That is a sign of things to come. A guy like Kyle Busch spins out racing hard. That means a lot of guys are on the edge of control, and when you're on the edge, sometimes you step over. John West Townley into the outside wall. You can see James Busher hitting his teammate Miguel Paludo here.
Yeah, James told us how difficult and challenging that is. There's Mount Caroga gets into Kyle Busch, both of those trucks into the outside wall. David Starr has a left front tire. He gets run into from behind.
We just saw most recently Brennan Newberry into the side of the 13 of Todd Bodine. A lot of debris on the track. Took quite a bit of time for the officials to get that cleaned up. It looks pretty good now, so we will be going back to a yellow flag condition. Trucks will roll here momentarily from Kansas.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Trucks are rolling once again at Kansas Speedway. We have just 45 laps of racing remaining in the SFP 250 presented by Peak. The 3 of Ty Dillon on pit road. Looks like they're working pretty diligently on the front of that truck.
He may have been part of that chain reaction when Jeb Burton missed that shift. Looks like he missed a shift on that restart. They may be doing some repairs. Let's take a look at that restart just a moment ago here. Ty is on the inside, so watch now. They take off, he stops, and they all run each other. Looks like Ty Dillon did not get in the back of anybody, at least on that restart anyway, but Ryan Blaney definitely got in the back of Jeb Burton. Ryan in the 29 truck.
Watch what Burton does off turn 2. Brendan slips up the hill, gets almost into the 18 of Coulter. That slows their momentum. Look at this Ford truck. Jeb Burton down to the bottom of the track. Looks like he can't possibly get the lead at that point, but he's able to grab it. Now just remember, Phil, Johnny Sauter missed his shift in practice and blew his engine up. Jeb missing a shift there could come back to bite him before this thing's over.
We saw the damage to the splitter on the 3 truck of Ty Dillon. Didn't happen on that restart. It must have happened some other time, but there's definitely some damage and looks like a piece missing on that splitter.
Yeah, and the good thing about all these cautions, it's allowed a lot of people that had some issues to work on those issues and take care of them. One guy in particular, Ron Hornaday, remember back 50 laps ago, he made some mistakes on pit road, got 3 laps down. He's got all of them back. He is now on the lead lap.
And top 10.
Yeah, and that truck is, well, if you're on the lead lap, you're going to be in the top 10. We don't have very many more not running.
See a tear off removed for Ron Hornaday. He'll have a fresh view out the windshield. Not sure Ty had that much damage to the splitter. Looked like maybe some of the paint had come off that splitter. At first it looked like there was a piece missing.
Maybe a piece of debris hit the front of that truck, because you saw just above the splitter also they had put some tape on it.
How about this story? 3 down, now he's got them all back. And you know how fast that truck was earlier. And we've seen guys like Johnny Sauter go from 10th to 5th in 1 lap. And I don't know how
Busher did it on this most recent restart.
Yeah, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I'm still not convinced there won't be some more of that action going.
I think there's a good chance that we may see another caution flag.
There's a lot of racing left. 44 laps to go. Are you kidding me?
Jeb Burton and Joey Coulter are going to make up row number 1. Let's go back trackside to Ray Dunlap.
Just letting you know real quickly, Johnny Sauter did come in and pit. They pulled on that right front fender. He had some damage there. Also put tires on. Those are tires that they had taken off the truck earlier today. So Sauter will get ready to go back to racing, and it was a damage on the 3. They said they felt like a piece of brake rotor may have hit the number 3. So that's very interesting. Wonder what truck that could have been off of. But they've made those repairs. Those guys will get ready to go. They'll have to go to the front from the rear of the lead lap trucks.
Well, they can do it. If
plenty of time
seen
left.
so far as any indication, there's going to be some more moving and shaking.
Plenty of laps remaining.
I love what we're seeing at the front. 20-year-old Jeb Bush. There's 19.
Burton.
Darn it, I did it again. Where's Kyle Busch? I could have blamed that on him.
Garage.
He left already.
Yeah.
All right, Jeb Burton.
How about Bubba Wallace? We have a teenager now running, going to restart in the 3rd spot in that 54 Toyota.
Jeb Burton, Joey Coulter making up row number 1. Darrell Wallace Jr., Brendan Gaughan are in 2. James Buescher, Matt Crafton in row 3. Ryan Blaney, Timothy Peters, row 4. Row 5, Johnny Sauter and Herman Quiroga.
Remember Herman Quiroga had a crash earlier?
With Kyle Busch, hard into the outside wall.
Well, he's made his way back onto the lead lap and running inside the top 10 as well. So it's a compact group of trucks, but that's not going to mean we're going to have any less action.
Fuel's not an issue anymore. They all should be able to get to the checkered flag. 43 laps. It'll be 42 when they come to the start-finish line. Jeb Burton on the inside. Joey Coulter on the outside. Green flag back in the air.
Jeb missed another shift, it looked like.
Brendan looked like he wanted to go to the inside, knew that he could not pass before the start-finish line.
That was a good heads-up move by Brendan Gaughan. You're right, Rick. He had a run on him, and when Jeb stopped, it'd been easy for Brendan to whip Jeb to the bottom, but it also cost him a penalty if he had a.
We have teammates now lined up in the inside. Jeb Burton in the 4 truck, James Buescher in the 31 truck. But Coulter gets the advantage on the high side.
Joey Coulter running the high line makes it work for that 18 truck, and he will take the lead off of 4.
Burton pulled right up in front of Brendan Gaughan. Look at the momentum it cost Brendan. Burton acted like Gaughan wasn't even there, and Brendan had to lift.
Drops Brendan back to the 4th spot. Riding along with Timothy Peters. He has to check up because the 88 of Matt Crafton got loose.
Got big time loose. Ryan Blaney, Johnny Sauter now going by Matt Crafton. Ryan Blaney already by then. Here comes Ty Dillon. Battle for the lead.
Oh, hang on the inside. He was sliding, has to get out of the gas, and he is able to catch it. Drops all the way back to 4th.
And may lose more. Here comes Brendan Gaughan with a head of steam.
That inside line so difficult.
Look at Brendan. He doesn't mess with that inside line. He's going to go to the top. See if he can get a run around the top of Brendan. Brendan on the outside of Jeb.
That momentum is going to carry the 62 past the 4.
Nice move right there.
And a nice catch by Jeb over there at the exit of 4.
And Blaney tucked in behind him in the 29. Now Blaney looks to the inside of Jeb Burton. Jeb Burton just moments ago racing to try to take the lead away from Joey Coulter. Now he's all the way back in the 5th position.
Looks like Ryan Blaney's hung down on the bottom now. Matt Crafton around the outside of him.
How about Darrell Wallace Jr. looking at the inside of that 18 of Joey Coulter for the lead.
He
Great
better get
battle
it
for the lead.
He better get it done quick, Phil. There's James Buescher right on the tailgate of Wallace Jr. with those fresher tires.
Joey Coulter 22 years old. James Buescher 23 years old. Darrell Wallace Jr. 19 years old, battling for the lead.
Drive it nice and smooth, don't overdrive.
How do you like that?
Just keep tight with that 13 here, see if we can't push them away.
Did we talk about the youth movement at the top of this show? It's never been more evident than right now. Those kids up there fighting for the lead. Brendan Gaughan in between another youngster and Jeb Burton racing in the top 5.
Good company Darrell Wallace Jr. is mixed up with right now. Joey Coulter 3rd in points last year. James Buescher, our champion from 2012.
Darrell Wallace Jr. has come into this series and proven he belongs week in, week out. Early in this rookie season, he's been up toward the front about every race. And I think he's faster than Coulter right now. If he can just keep that thing down on the bottom, make a move. But man, when you get down there, Phil, get up beside him, it's going to be so hard to complete the pass.
As we are at the bottom of the hour, those of you tuning in for the Rolex Sports Car Series from Atlanta, that will follow directly after the conclusion of the Camping World Truck Series race. 37 and now 36 laps to go. Joey Coulter in front of the 54 of Darrell Wallace Jr. and James Busher running in the top three. Right.
Yellow is out right now, guys, but Jeb Burton, you see the 63
Justin
of Jennings has had a problem on the racetrack. Jeb Burton, update real quick. They said his truck is extremely free. Mike Hillman Jr. came on the radio saying it looks like maybe we have a tire going on. They'll check on that right now to see if they're losing some air, but very loose for the Arrowhead Silverado.
He's falling back to the 8th spot, Ray. I think I would bring him to pit road. Now there's only right now 12 trucks on the lead lap, so I would go ahead and bring him to pit road. As when pit road opens, check it over again. He's not going to lose that much track position. There's Jennings gets a little bit loose through the center of the corner there. Does a nice job keeping that truck from sliding up into the outside wall.
The spin looked a whole lot like we saw Jeff Gordon do yesterday in qualifying. Just started spinning around really early in the corner, but Jennings does a nice job of driving it all the way off turn 4. Obviously off turn 2 the wall comes up sooner. You got a dog leg off 4, and that was the difference between him hitting the wall and not.
There's Jeb Burton in the Ford truck. Has to chase that truck up the hill. Does a nice job gathering that truck in before he makes contact with the outside wall.
We saw him do that a few laps before when he was racing up for the lead, and maybe they're going to come to pit road and put some tires on that baby. I would. We've seen guys make moves in a hurry, and there's still over 30 laps to go when we go back green. Heck, I'm going to work on my truck.
Yeah, there's definitely enough laps in this race for Jeb Burton, if he does have 4 fresh tires, to be able to make his way back up to the front.
May not be the only truck that comes to pit road. Again, 35 laps is a long time. Great start to the season for Jeb Burton.
3 top 10 finishes in our first 3 races for that young man.
Pit road is still closed at this point. It will remain closed for this lap.
Michael, you mentioned it earlier, attrition, kind of the name of the game.
Yeah, we thought it was going to be engines, Rick, that were causing people challenges. We've seen a couple of engine problems. One contender in Joey Logano lost an engine, but everything else has been traction problems, running out of it and into the wall.
Half our starters are still running on the racetrack. 18 of the 36 starters. The fewest finishes we ever had was in the 2005 Daytona race, and there was only 12 trucks running at the end of that race in 2005.
I've seen those kind of finishes before.
Yeah. I hope we don't get down to that kind of number.
One of those 18 trucks on the track is Jennifer Jo Cobb. She's running in the 17th spot. It's good to see the Kansas City, Kansas girl having a solid run, staying in competition and fighting for a top 15 finish. There she is. We heard her talk earlier that her team was sort of depleted of resources when the season started. They've been able to put trucks on the track, get things together, and show up week in and week out. It's really nice that she's been able to hang in there and racing for a top 15 finish.
In front of the hometown crowd here at Kansas Speedway.
Racing's addictive. You want to be out there every lap, and when you're sitting in the garage area and you hear those motors running, it's really hard, especially when you're at your home track. So it's nice that she's able to continue to compete.
Michael, we're going to open pit road this time, so we're going to see if Jeb Burton or any of the other lead lap competitors head down pit road.
If I'm on the back end of the top 10, I'm coming. Let's make something happen.
Jeb's coming.
They're making the decision now. We're seeing the 4.
Timothy Peters is coming.
4 in front of the 17, making their way onto pit road. The 4 has a little bit longer trip to make. Let's go to Hermie first.
Yeah, you guys are right. The tail end of the lead lap, nothing to lose for the 17 of Timothy Peters. They'll put 4 tires, make a slight air pressure adjustment, and try to make something of this finish at Kansas. Ray?
Justin Jennings is sitting in his pit box in a 63 right behind Jeb Burton. So Jeb will get in here into his pits. They're going to put 4 tires on this truck. Now, these are tires that they used in practice, only had 5 laps on them, so pretty good scuffs. They'll put Sunoco fuel in this thing. You saw them making an adjustment on the left side. They'll pull off the tear off, and as Mike Hillman Jr. said to Jeb, something went crazy wrong to let this thing get that loose. We had to pit, but they're only going to lose 3 or 4 spots. They'll have fresher tires. Could be a good call on lap 134.
Yeah, I think that's a great call, and scuffed tires certainly don't hurt you here. We saw the majority, if not all, the Cup cars qualify with scuffed tires, so I think those tires are just right for Jeb in that Ford truck.
Well, and he didn't like what he had. He had almost spun out twice in 2 or 3 laps. So certainly saw Dakota Armstrong. We talked at the top of the show how strong he's been this year, running up in the top 10. He made a pit stop as well. So some adjustments to those trucks, along with Timothy Peters, be interesting to see if they can claw their way up to Joey Coulter and Bubba Wallace and race for this win.
Wasn't too long ago when Joey Coulter was running for his first win in the 22 for Richard Childress Racing, and then the issue happened with the 18.
This is a cool down lap. That's on the cool down lap right there. Kyle Busch pulls up beside Joey Coulter, runs into the side of that truck, and pop Richard Childress took exception to that.
Wasn't appreciative.
Yeah, he said the 3 famous words for the Kansas Speedway: hold my watch. And he went to voice his displeasure with Mr. But you know, not only that's Richard Childress's truck. He built those trucks, and the race was over and didn't have a scratch on it. He didn't take kindly to getting his truck tore up after the race was over.
2x2 once again. Joey Coulter has chosen the outside line. Darrell Wallace Jr. will be on the inside for this restart.
And we've seen Darrell Wallace pull up beside Coulter several times. So we've got James Buescher. We know how fast this truck is. Watch for those 2 on the front row to hang side by side and give Buescher the chance to do what Jeb Burton did to the front row earlier and grab the lead off turn 2.
And he'll take it if he has that opportunity for sure.
We have already had 10 cautions, 47 laps under caution. We've got a couple records that we've already broke. 9 different drivers have been out front here at Kansas. Excuse me, 11 different drivers have been out front here at Kansas. 18 times they have changed the lead. So those are both records at this racetrack, and we don't want to break that other record of cautions.
At this city.
This racetrack, Phil.
Now this racetrack's been in the same place. It's been sitting right here.
It just looks a little different.
Kansas, it's still called Kansas Speedway, right?
It is.
This is going to be good, guys.
31 laps to go. Coulter on the outside, Wallace on the inside, green flag back in the air. Great restart for both of the trucks up on the front row.
Watch
side to side, though.
Watch them as they exit turn 2. Let's see if James Buescher can get a run. See if he can turn underneath them.
Down the back stretch they go, still side by side for the lead. Now Buescher looks down low. He sees the 88 of Crafton making the move 3 wide through turn 3.
Crafton's the one that was able to make the move, and it stalled out James Buescher. He's lost a couple more spots. Side by side for the lead.
Here comes Wallace. Darrell Wallace Jr. at the stripe scored your leader by 4/1000th of a second.
Oh, those trucks are close. Check out Matt Crafton. They've worked on that truck all day long. Really loose early in the going. He drives right around. Brendan Gaudis going for the lead.
Making a move for the lead. Here comes Crafton. Crafton into turn 3. He's going to take away the top spot.
All right, drive away.
Holy cow, I didn't see that one coming. Got us trouble.
Jeb Burton. Back behind it, it's Jeb Burton.
Barely into the outside wall.
Hold it up there. No caution, no caution.
And the caution will now come out. And he just got new tires.
Sure did. Hope we got some more.
You just wonder.
All right, keep it on the track here. Come on. We got to get caught up before we pit. If you got anything that's down real bad, don't tear it up.
It's like that nose. You think the nose has been up, Phil, from hitting the apron when he spun around?
Looks like it. It's up too high. Matt Crafton, what an incredible job on this restart. He restarted this race 5th.
Well,
went to 3rd and then to 1st.
But he hadn't had a truck like that all day long. That team has done a great job on pit road of getting him tuned up. Chance to compete for the win. That's awesome for Matt.
Looks like the right front down for Jeb Burton.
There's Jeb. He's already into the spin. He's going to make slight contact with the outside wall.
That won't really hurt anything, I don't think. I'm worried about that nose. I guess when he slides off the track, maybe it.
There's Dakota Armstrong, the white hooded Chevrolet, getting by. Dakota got the free pass last time.
Look at this
Here's
move.
Matt Crafton. Look at this run he gets. Going to clear them both by the time they get to turn 3. Looks like Bubba got a little bit loose there on the inside of Coulter. Wisely backed off, and another shot of the run that Matt Crafton gets all that momentum headed down towards turn 3.
28 laps remaining. Matt Crafton. It's been a while since he's been to victory lane. Last time was Iowa back in 2011. Only 2 wins for Matt Crafton. One came at Charlotte, and the most recent at Iowa. Get a reminder, if you are tuning in for the Rolex Sports Car Series from Atlanta, that will follow after the 28 laps here for the Camping World Truck Series.
And if you are just tuning in for that, watch these 28 laps.
Yeah, don't tune out.
Because we've had an amazing race. A lot of crashes, a lot of spins, a lot of lead changes. Record lead changes.
Right.
Well, they've got some tires here. They're looking around to see what they need to do with the front. Obviously, the splitter appears to be angled up a little bit, so they put some pressure on that. They're putting right side tires on this Silverado, and he is trying. They need to get going or he's going to lose a lap here. Will he be able to beat the Peace Car? Yes, he is ahead now and should get off pit road under green. He's okay.
Yeah, I thought they were being a little leisurely with that pit stop. The caution car was coming down the front straightaway. It looked really close whether Jeb was able to get off pit road ahead. I think he did.
I was looking up there to see the red lights that are along pit road to signal for the driver to stop or go. And when I looked down there, the red lights were flashing, but Jeb may have just eased by that.
I think he was past that, but they've got bigger issues than that. I think, Phil, they're going to have to get to pit road and work on that nose. Obviously, we've talked about how critical and important aerodynamics is here, and man, that truck's bent up in the front.
See the red line up against the wall? He's got to get to this white line before the pace car gets to the red line.
Well, it doesn't
I
get
say
much
he
closer
does.
than
I
that.
say he does make it.
That's awesome. Good camera work, y'all. It didn't look like there's any way he was going to beat him, did it? Pace car was about there, and there wasn't a Jeb to be found.
What's left side of your screen, you're going to see him get to the yellow line. We saw from that other view that it was just prior to the pace car getting to the red line on the outside wall. The 81 of David Starr will be the recipient for the free pass.
He was in a wreck earlier.
Had that flat left front tire, then got run into.
Didn't look like, the way he got hit, didn't look like there's any way he'd be getting laps back and contending for a top 10, but that's where he finds himself.
Jeb pretty quick on pit road there, trying to get back into his stall. I hope he doesn't speed on pit road this time.
Well, he's got to start in the back anyway, so unless he just sped where NASCAR didn't feel like it was safe, I think he's going to be fine.
Remember, pit road speed is 45 miles per hour. Well, NASCAR will give you 5 miles an hour, but if you run 50.1 in any one of the segments on pit road, then you'll be called on it.
They didn't even try to. I would have jumped up and down on that splitter and tried to get that nose bent back down. But they're going to go back green flag racing, so.
Out in front of the field is Matt Crafton after a very aggressive move coming off of turn number 2 with that momentum, able to get by Joey Coulter and Darrell Wallace Jr. They're your top 3. Brendan Gaughan running in the top 5. He's 4th. Ryan Blaney, young man, in the 5th spot at number 29 Ford. James Busher, Ty Dillon, Johnny Sauter, Ron Hornaday, Timothy Peters, your top 10.
Matt Crafton's going to try to continue Thor Sports' domination of 2013 so far. Johnny Sauter, 2 wins in the first 3 races. Can Matt make it 3 for 4 for Thor Sport?
Well, he certainly has come a long way with that truck today. You got to be really proud of that whole team. The job that crew chief Carl Joyner has done, making adjustments. Now he finds himself in a position to win here in Kansas.
25 laps to go. Green flag back in the air.
Great restart by Joey Coulter. Actually got his nose out ahead of Crafton a little bit and getting a good push from Darrell Wallace. But here comes the outside line.
Crafton stays tough on the outside. 3 wide now for a moment. Ryan Blaney makes it 3 wide. Look at Hornaday all the way down to the apron.
3 and 4 wide as they get ready to enter turn 3. Battle for the lead continues. Joey Coulter has to get out of the gas, and Crafton goes by, has the top spot.
3 and 4 wide behind him. You see Busher on the high side, Bubba Wallace behind him.
Look at Timothy Peters making moves after making that late pit stop. And here comes Hornaday, coming from 3 laps down to race inside the top 10.
Crafton and Coulter 1 and 2. Blaney now fighting for that 3rd spot with Brendan Gaughan.
Remember how many times we've seen the trucks on the inside get loose.
That has been one of the themes today. If you're on the inside, you've got to make sure to keep that truck underneath you. It will get loose if there's a truck on your outside.
You better hang on.
Timothy Peters lost a little bit momentum. Ron Hornaday's able to get by him. Now here comes Quiroga to the inside of the 17.
Check out the moves that Ron Hornaday makes here. Looks like Johnny Sauter says, I'm coming over, Ron. And Ron said, well, I'm here. Johnny wouldn't have any of it, though. He just kept crowding Ron.
Stayed on the gas.
Whoa, got Busher sideways off turn 2. That's truck racing at its finest right there. Look at that glob of trucks.
Sent Hornaday down to the bottom of the racetrack. Crafton and Coulter 1 and 2. 22 laps to go.
Crafton isn't going anywhere, Phil. The way he grabbed that lead with such conviction, authority, it looked like he would just drive off from him. But you can see Joey Coulter, Brendan Gaughan, and Ryan Blaney are right there on him.
You know, guys, we haven't talked a whole lot about Ryan Blaney, but he's been solid this entire season, really since he jumped in the truck last year for Brad Keselowski Racing. Got the win at Iowa last year. Strong up into the top 5 right now.
Ryan Blaney just 19 years old. Another one of those teenagers here in the Camping World Truck Series that has done oh so well. Top 4 staying pretty close together. Crafton in front of Coulter. Coulter has closed the gap once again. Only a truck link separating the top 2. Then it's Brendan Gaughan holding on to 3rd. Ryan Blaney in 4th.
How about that first 4? We talked earlier in the day whether youth would overcome experience or what would it take to win the race. Right now we got an older feller leading and then a couple of kids also in the top 5 along with Brendan Gaughan. Gaughan's 37, Crafton's 36, and we've talked a lot about the age of Coulter and Ryan Blaney.
Johnny Sauter, 34 years old right now, running 5th.
I think we can throw this age thing out. It doesn't, if you're here, you got a shot to win no matter how old you are.
Especially here with 20 laps to go with only 18 trucks still on the racetrack.
I like this truck of Ryan Blaney right now. He can't get his way around Brendan Gaughan, but darn, down in the center of the corner, he really gains on Brendan. If he could get that thing off the turn, he might have something for the win.
Crafton looking very strong out in front. It's been a while since he was in victory lane, but he has definitely been the Iron Man of this series. This is his 298th consecutive start in the Camping World Truck Series.
Set a new record today.
New record for Matt Crafton.
He said it last week, but every race he continues to run, he sets a new record.
Coulter tucked into the tire tracks of Crafton, now tries the high line. Let's see if that little bit of momentum gives him an advantage as they go down the backstretch.
Almost looked like a super speedway move where he moves out from around the draft of the truck to try to get a little bit of momentum.
Ray, what are they talking about with the 88 team?
Crafton says this truck is on rails. He's really, really happy with it. But keep in mind, guys, his life's about to change any day now. Within the next 6 or 7 days, the first baby is due with he and his wife, Ashley. Keep in mind, it's been 39 races since Iowa when Matt Crafton went to victory lane last. He said, right now, this thing is flawless.
Well, do you remember how Matt Crafton went to victory lane back in 2011 at Iowa? He had Austin Dillon over the back of him. Crafton had to change his lane in order to keep Dillon behind him. It looks like right now that the truck of Joey Coulter is faster than Crafton, and Coulter is starting to look at the outside of the racetrack to make a move. Matt might have to pull a replay from 2011 and get that truck up high in front of Coulter so he can't make that move. Coulter's all over.
We talk all the time at Daytona Talladega how the drivers will have to look out the mirror as much as they will look out the windshield. Right now, Matt Crafton has to be aware of where Joey Coulter is trying to run. If he gets a little bit of run on the outside, then Matt's going to have to pull up to thwart that.
And look at this guy. Ryan Blaney is all over Gaughan. It's the same situation. It looks like that Gaughan is holding Blaney up a little bit, but you just can't make them, haven't been able to make the move yet.
That's bringing Sauter and James Busher back into this race. They pulled up behind the Ryan Blaney truck, the 29 truck.
See how fast Blaney is through the center of the corner? He can really make some moves through there. Got some lap traffic up ahead too. that can take away momentum from Crafton. He better move up high.
14 laps to go when they get to the start-finish line. Crafton makes his way up a little bit higher to go by the slower lap traffic of Jennifer Jo Cobb, goes all the way down to the apron.
Busher side by side with Sauter,
but has to back out because of the traffic, and is that gonna cost him the spot?
Once again, Busher has to check up just a bit, and now Darrell Wallace Jr. is going to go by.
Almost.
He knows its time is running out. We're inside of 15 laps to go. James Busher knows that he's going to have to make something happen here to get up and race with these guys up front.
Here comes Blaney on the inside of God. Oh, can't quite get there. Man, those guys are racing tight.
Busher and Darrell Wallace Jr. Busher all the way down to the grass on the apron here at Kansas Speedway.
See Ty Dillon pull in behind Busher, give him a little bit of push. Is Busher able to clear Darrell Wallace Jr.? Not quite yet.
Darrell Wallace Jr. battles back on the outside, gets a great run, and now clears Busher. Out in front, Crafton still holding off Joey Coulter.
Look at Ryan Blaney pull right up on the tailgate of Brendan Gaughan.
He is all over Gaughan. He just can't quite squeeze the inside. The same.
Really tight right there.
12 to go.
You're doing an amazing job, young man, making that thing suck up onto the back of Brendan Gaughan. And the same thing with Coulter, driving up on the outside of Crafton. Remember last year when Crafton lost one at Vegas with a last lap? Was that Vegas?
Nelson Piquet Jr. drove by him on the last lap.
He just dove in there and took caution to the wind and made that move. Joey Coulter looks like he's getting in a position to do the same thing to Crafton here.
Big run by that 18.
He's going to the outside.
Now looking back to the inside, all over the back bumper of Crafton. 11 laps of racing to go.
We could tell that time that Matt Crafton was looking in that mirror. He knew where Joey Coulter was on the outside with a little bit of a run.
Joey Coulter's doing an amazing job opening up that outside groove for himself. He's putting it up there, understanding what his truck will do if he runs out from behind Crafton and really gaining some momentum.
And if nothing else, he is absolutely worrying Matt Crafton to death.
Well, it's more than worrying, but see, here's the deal. If Crafton, if Coulter goes to the bottom and tries to make the move on Crafton, that's going to bring Brendan Gaughan and Ryan Blaney right into the equation. So waiting, being patient, keep trying to do it on the outside is probably the smartest thing to do. A young man, 22 years of age, having that savvy and that knowledge of how to make this move is really impressive.
He would rather race Matt Crafton by himself than have to worry about Brendan Gaughan and Ryan Blaney.
Coming up on slower lap traffic once again. Crafton in front of Coulter. Crafton first to the slower lap traffic. He's able to negotiate through it. Jeb Burton moves all the way down to the apron as this pack starts to work its way through.
Brendan Gaughan, Ryan Blaney safely by the lap traffic. Now they move by the 4. Ooh, the 4 slides up the racetrack a little bit. Ryan had to give him a little extra room.
Amazingly, the 88 of Crafton and Coulter have been able to stay out in front while racing for that lead and keep the distance between themselves and 3rd and 4th.
Bubba Wallace jumped to the outside of James Busher. James Busher got caught behind that lap truck.
Did you hear what you said? 3 wide, new pavement. Hats off to Kansas Speedway for giving us this progressive banking, making all that racing room available to these guys. And that racing room is going to become key here late in the race, guys. If Joey Coulter's going to win this race, looks like he's going to go out there and have to make the pass on the high side. Matt is blocking him for all it's worth on the bottom.
Got a great run as we keep our eye on the 31 of Busher. And Darrell Wallace Jr., Ty Dillon also in this battle for the 6th spot.
James lost the front end there a little bit, lost a little bit of momentum. I thought it might open the door for Ty to pull to the inside, but wasn't able to do it.
Matt Crafton put a big gap between himself and Joey Coulter. Almost 6 trunk links separate the top 2 now with just under 7 laps to go.
Matt Crafton that time ran within 1/4 of a second of our pole speed, our new track record pole speed earlier today.
But here comes Coulter back. Little bit of lap traffic cost Coulter some momentum, lost a 1/2 second on the last lap. Looks like he's going to gain half of that back on this lap.
6 laps to go. All racing within the top 10. Crafton and Coulter 1 and 2. Gaughan and Blaney 3 and 4. Then it's Sauter, Wallace, Busher, Dillon, Hornaday, and Peters your top 10.
You know Crafton's thinking about Vegas last year when on the last lap when he thought he had victory, he was passed by Nelson Piquet Jr. Look at Coulter inching back in on Crafton here as we come toward
5 to go.
5 to go this time.
They've opened up a little bit of a gap over the 3rd place truck of Brendan Gaughan. You see Brendan back there, the South Point truck making his way by that lap truck, bringing Ryan Blaney with him.
I think that's what Coulter wanted to see. Let's open up that gap between the two behind us so we can settle this among ourselves.
Blaney all over the back bumper of Brendan Gaughan.
Coulter gained 2/10 on Crafton the last time by.
And he's coming again. Crafton, his numbers, amazing. Only 2 wins, 11 times he has finished second in the Camping World Truck Series.
He shaved another 10th off that time, Phil, so
He's there. He's there, Michael.
it isn't seconds anymore. It's a couple of truck links, and he's got a fast truck. Remember the draft. We talk about how big of a hole these trucks punch in the air. Look at Crafton doing everything he can to break that draft. If I'm Coulter, I'll let Crafton do all that crazy stuff. Hold my truck straight, get set up for the corner. That's what you need to do. Keep your momentum up. Don't worry about where Matt goes.
This time by. 3 laps of racing to go. To the apron they both go. Crafton in front of Coulter. Coulter trying to close that gap. The laps winding down.
It's simple for Matt Crafton. Hit your marks, watch that mirror, and go where Joey Coulter wants to go.
Coulter's been running a little bit higher line through the turns. Crafton now goes a little bit higher to take that away. Coulter goes low.
Yeah, Crafton's been totally committed to the bottom. That time he went a little higher. Looks like he put a couple truck leaks on Coulter.
2 laps to go for Crafton. Talked about Thor Sport and the start of the 2013 season. Both Johnny Sauter and Matt Crafton, the first 3 races of the season, all top 10 finishes.
Right now, both those trucks running in the top 5. Johnny Sauter holds down the 5th spot.
Joey Coulter's closed the gap once again. He only will have 1 lap to go to see if he can take away that lead.
One more time.
How about that side-by-side battle for 3rd? Ryan Blaney gets to the outside of Brendan Gaughan.
Great battle for 3rd behind our leader.
Can Coulter get to the outside of our leader, Matt Crafton? Doesn't look like it, but Blaney's going to finish that pass.
Blaney gets 3rd. Now, down the back stretch they go. One last opportunity. Crafton doing everything he can to stay in front of the 18 of Coulter. Working his way through 3 and 4. Matt Crafton coming out of turn number 4. Looking at win number 3 in the Camping World Truck Series.
What a man, dude. You are the man. You guys are so badass. Thanks, dude.
What a great job by Joey Coulter, racing Matt Crafton, chasing him down, but then that man just holding him off, taking his line away, doing everything he needed to do to win this race.
That was an experienced veteran there that carried that truck to victory.
Ashley, I know you're excited and I know you're watching this race, but be patient. Be patient. She's very close to the birth of their first child, watching at home, I'm sure, in front of the TV, and she will be celebrating with Matt very soon. And the celebration begins for Matt Crafton. Rolex Sports Car Series from Atlanta coming up in just a moment. Crafton grabs his 3rd career win. We talked about a great start for Thor Sport. 3 out of the 4 races Thor Sport has won in 2013.
We talked about Turner Scott Motorsports and how dominant they were all throughout practice and qualifying. 1, 2, 3 in qualifying. Right now, James Busher, 6th place finish. That's the best finish for Turner Scott Motorsports.
How do you like that burnout? He ripped his tires off.
Shred the left rear tire.
You know what I liked? I liked the talk of Matt Crafton down at Rockingham. He was like, we're championship material. This Thor Sport team has everything it takes to go win this championship. Winning 3 out of the first 4 races, getting a huge win here at Kansas for that man. I think he might know what he's talking about.
Putting himself right in position. We thought that Johnny Sauter, after the start that he has had, was separating himself from a bunch of the field as far as the championship goes, but he can't separate himself from his teammate. Guts and Glory, presented by Ram.
Watch this move. He just dove to the bottom 3 wide, made it work. Had to go off the track, Phil.
Yeah, restarted in the 5th spot. In the course of a lap, he went from 5th to 3rd, 3rd to 1st.
And he did all that, but he couldn't shake Joey Coulter. So even though he made those great moves, look at that margin of victory.
Separated at the stripe by 0.167 seconds. And of course, with the gutsy moves comes the glory. And now he'll be able to celebrate that glory in victory lane. Let's go to Ray.
Well, Matt Crafton has his helmet off and he's getting ready to climb out. Menards is on the side of this number 88. Ideal Doors, garage doors will be on the hood. And Matt, you're ready to come on out. Here we go. Victory number 3 for Matt Crafton. He got his first on the 1.5 miles at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And as you guys were talking about, Ashley at home watching did not make the trip this week, but there'll be a big celebration. Thor Sport Racing is off to a fantastic start in 2013. Been a little while. How's it feel to be back here in Victory Lane?
Feels damn good. I can't thank these guys enough. This truck was junk yesterday. The changes they made, whew, it's been a hell of a week. Like I said, I mean, this thing was terrible. It was the 20th place truck yesterday. They changed so much on this thing. Can't thank these guys enough.
You got a name picked out for the baby yet?
Elodie.
I'm thinking maybe Duke if it's a boy or Rhonda if it's a girl.
Elodie.
Okay. Back home, Ashley's celebrating with him. Matt Crafton back in Victory Lane here at Kansas.
Very emotional, Matt Crafton.
Winning these
back
things
to Victory Lane.
Winning these things is difficult, Rick, and when you win one, you just want to, you're so thankful.
Look at the start Johnny Saunders had. He's 2 wins, two other top 5 finishes, and only 12 points ahead of Matt Crafton, who's had a win and all 4 finishes in the top 10 as well.
Jeff Burton, for the first time in 2013, finishes outside of the top 10, but still 3rd in the point standings.
Darrell Wallace Jr. up to 8th. Joey Coulter, a good run today, has him inside the top 10. And Dakota Armstrong talked about how he's been solid all year, top 10 in the points.
We knew it was going to be speed that we would talk about today. It also ended up being losing the air on those inside trucks.
Yeah, losing traction.
Yeah, got a couple weeks off, and then we go to Charlotte. Remember, 4 of the next 5 races on 1.5 miles, including this one.
Oh, man, that was a lot to take in, and I loved every minute of it.
A lot of action taking place on the track here at Kansas Speedway. It's Matt Crafton that celebrates in Victory Lane. Coming up next, Rolex Sports Car Series from Atlanta.